Big White Resort, Terrain Park, day. Faith Carter, 17, snowboards through the progression course she could ride in her sleep. Handrails, pipes, and jumps create her playground. Faith slows as she reaches 4 members of the snowboarding team. Faith starts to go around them when Coach Scott, 30s, gestures for her to stop, barely looking at her.
Team goes first.
Faith stops and crosses her arms. She watches 2 riders attempt a difficult trick off a feature. After the third fails, Faith can't control her annoyance.
That's the best you got?
Coach is not amused by Faith's attitude. The last rider makes his attempt and fails. Coach drops his board to step into the bindings.
He over-rotated, you might want to tell him.
Faith takes off. She lands the trick the boys failed at. She looks back. Coach saw, but looks at his phone to cover his reaction. Exterior, Big White Resort, ski lift day. Faith approaches the member of the snowboarding team. She stops next to him.
Tell me you landed the trick.
Jake averts his gaze.
Seriously, Jake, we worked on it last week.
I know. Do you think screwing up is contagious?
If it is, I better avoid your
Or
team.
join it and make us better. You'd kill at competitions.
They move forward with the line.
I'll pass. Competitive snowboarding only uses its rebellious background to make privileged rich kids feel cool.
Whatever. You'd join if it meant beating up those rich girls and showing up Coach.
Faith grins at the thought, but it doesn't last.
Doesn't matter. Even if I could afford the team, no one is rushing to include trans riders.
Not like anyone can tell.
Jake, stick with your team.
Jake offers an apologetic look. Faith nods for him to go, gazing at the team. Interior, Big White Resort, cafe, day. Faith snacks to refuel. The phone rings. Exterior, Big White Resort, terrain park, same time. Jake stands with the team, watching as first responders huddle around Jules.
Are you still here? Coach needs to talk to you.
Why?
Jules went down hard and busted up her knee. I convinced Coach to give you a shot, but you have to get here now.
Is she okay?
I don't know. Just get here.
Exterior, Big White Resort, terrain park, later. Coach stands with his arms crossed, not thrilled. Faith stands, hands in her pockets.
Like Jake said, I'm down a girl. Think you can cut it?
You know I can, but I'm not paying to bail you out.
Convince me you're worth it.
Faith shrugs and turns away to pick her line. She takes a quick breath and rides. Coach follows, studying her intently. Faith hits her first trick well. Coach doesn't react. Faith lines up for the next and hits the exact trick he was trying to get the team to do. Coach shakes his head. Faith hits the jump with a trick 540 tail grab. She lands clean and relaxed. Faith pulls out of the path to talk to Coach.
What's the verdict?
Coach
Welcome
takes
to
a
the
moment
team,
before
Faith.
answering.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Welcome
Jake
to the
beams,
team, Faith.
but Faith doesn't.
I didn't say I'd do it. I need to talk this over with my parents, and you need to find out if I'm eligible to compete.
Why wouldn't you be eligible? Couldn't pass a drug test?
Faith scowls.
Wow. No. Did you forget I'm trans?
Oh, right.
Faith can't help but be happy with his answer.
I'll get back to you, but I need an answer soon. Next event is in 2 weeks.
Sure thing, Coach.
Interior, Faith's house. Kitchen, night. A small single-family home in the Kelowna, British Columbia suburbs. Faith walks in as her parents are doing normal after-work activities, unpacking groceries and preparing dinner. Faith's family is a sanctuary of love and support.
How was your day?
I ran into Jake, snowboarding coach at the park today.
Are you okay?
Not literally, Mom.
Okay, you act like that's an absurd assumption, but continue.
He asked me to join the team to replace an injured girl. And before you ask, he won't charge me as long as I compete.
Compete?
Yeah, it's a trade-off for free coaching.
Free or not, does he understand how costly? Free or not, does he understand how costly it could be if things went wrong?
Probably not, but he's checking the rules before I decide.
Rules don't matter. If your trans just becomes a story, you're going to get the wrong kind of attention.
No,
You need to talk to him. You went through so much to be accepted.
that's the thing. He sees me as the girl I am. That's all I've ever wanted.
Faith cuts her mom off before she can argue.
Look, I haven't said yes, and I might not, but can I celebrate the victory for a minute?
Absolutely. Get the ice cream.
Exterior, big white resort, beginners area, day. Faith teaches 5 first-time snowboarders, all 8 through 12 years old. The kids awkwardly hold their boards while Faith checks her roster. Some wear their helmets, some hold them. Further away, Sam, 11, crosses her arms around her board while Sam's mom, 45, speaks sternly.
If you take that hat off, Samantha, there will be consequences.
Sam's mom leaves. Faith approaches Sam.
What's going on? Samantha, right?
Sam,
Got it. What's wrong, Sam?
I wanted an awesome black skull beanie, but my mom got me this pink one instead.
It still has a very cool skull.
Sam is not amused.
I know it sucks, but we can't have your ears fall off from the cold.
Sam is having none of it. Meanwhile, 2 other kids bicker inaudibly. Behind them, a person whose gender is hard to determine observes. Shaggy short hair, gender-neutral clothes, Ripley Weaver, 18, rides over.
You got your hands full. Can I help? Kids usually love me.
Faith starts to say no, but then she recognizes the stranger.
Wait, I know you. I mean, I don't know you, but I follow you on Instagram. Ripley, right?
Yeah,
Ripley eyes Faith with more interest.
yeah, that's me.
Did you mention coming here and I missed it? Not that I'm stalking you or anything, but you're memorable.
Faith looks away, flustered. Ripley's amused.
I am, huh?
A series of thunks pulls Faith's attention. 2 boys test their helmets with their boards.
I better get these kids started.
You still have an unhappy rider. Can I try?
Faith nods.
Hey, I'm Ripley. Did I hear you don't like your beanie?
It's too pink.
I get it. Not a big fan of pink myself. If I let you have my beanie, will you let my new friend...
Ripley turns to Faith to prompt for her name.
Faith.
Faith here teach you how to ride?
Are you a boy or a girl?
Let's keep it simple and go with girl. One who doesn't like to wear pink either.
Sam softened but remains skeptical.
Sam, Ripley is a professional snowboarder, so having her beanie is pretty special.
My mom said I had to wear this one.
I'll talk to her, I promise.
Sam takes the beanie and hands hers to Ripley. Ripley shoves it in their pocket.
Aren't you going to wear it?
Not my style.
Tucker, 9, a quiet boy, fidgets nervously but gathers his courage.
I don't know who's Tucker.
I'll take him. Can I have it?
What do you think?
Yeah, but what will you wear?
I'll buy something later.
But your ears will fall off.
We can't have that.
You should wear mine.
Ripley smiles at Faith and puts on the beanie.
Thank you, Tucker. Everyone say goodbye to Ripley and get your helmets on and buckled.
The kids are disappointed. Ripley looks at Faith expectantly. Faith quickly gives in, not wanting Ripley to leave.
You can stay if you want.
Ripley gives an excited jump and joins the class.
Are you all ready to learn how to snowboard?
Yes!
Yay.
Remember, pay attention and try hard. You'll be linking turns and flying down the green runs in no time.
Exterior, Big White Resort, beginner's area, later. Ripley stands next to Sam as her mom looks over.
Samantha, where is your hat? And whose is that?
Ripley gave me hers. She's a pro, Mom. And she said if I practice real hard, I can be as good as her.
Mom scowls at Ripley.
She did really well once she felt comfortable. Your kid's a natural.
Sam beams. Her mom softens and ushers Sam away. Meanwhile, Tucker's dad, Mr. Fragile Masculinity, 30, is not amused. He removes Tucker's helmet to rip the pink hat off.
That's what I get for letting a girl teach you to snowboard. Turn you into a damn sissy.
Faith is pissed, but stands back. Ripley stomps right up to him. Faith quickly follows.
Hey, it's just a beanie. Can't make your kid gay any more than it would make me straight.
Of course you'd think that. Give me that hat and get away from my kid.
Faith steps alongside Ripley and addresses the dad.
There was no harm intended. We were just letting the kids have fun.
I don't care.
Ripley kneels down to eye level with Tucker. They hand the hat to Tucker.
There's nothing wrong with you.
What my kid wears.
Mr. Fragile Masculinity grabs Tucker's arm. They leave. Ripley follows, furious. Faith steps in front of them.
Stop. You'll only make things worse.
Ripley paces. Faith watches, struggling with her own emotions. Ripley tries to hide their breathing exercises. But after several breaths, they sigh and shake their head.
Are you busy now?
No, why?
I need to blow off some steam. Ride with me?
Absolutely. After you get a new beanie.
Ripley picks up the discarded pink one and looks it over. They get a mischievous look.
Actually, I think pink is starting to grow on me.
What if it makes you straight?
Not a chance with you around.
Faith can't hide her smile, though she tries.
So it's me versus the all-powerful pink beanie. Talk about pressure.
I have faith in you.
Faith gives them a look.
Too much?
A bit. Let's ride.
Interior, Big White Resort, gondola, day. Ripley fidgets in their seat as the gondola takes off. Faith breaks the silence.
Are you afraid of heights? You looked a little freaked out.
I have ADHD, so I never stop moving. I'm also afraid of heights.
How did you become a snowboarder then?
I was hooked before I rode my first lift. Even then, I knew snowboarding was worth facing my fear.
Faith is pensive. Ripley admires her until Faith looks back.
You know this doesn't take us to the park, right? We still have the chairlift.
Lucky for me, I have a distraction.
Do you flirt with all the girls you meet on the mountain?
Just the pretty talented ones.
How do you know I'm any good?
You're confident and that gear is serious. You compete?
That's complicated, though it shouldn't be.
Ripley looks around.
I have time.
Okay. When that girl asked you if you were a boy or a girl, why did you say to go with girl rather than just say you're a girl?
Ripley is confused.
Because I didn't want to explain non-binary to a bunch of kids.
Oh, I didn't ask for your pronouns.
I'm leaning towards they, them, but haven't told many people, so she, her works too.
Ripley fidgets. Faith studies them for a moment.
You can be yourself with me, Ripley. What are your pronouns?
Ripley looks up relieved.
They, them.
Cool. I had a hunch my question was relevant. Now when I tell you I'm trans, it feels less out of the blue.
Oh. Still feels out of the blue, but thanks for telling me.
You too. So did you go off because your parents were like Mr. Fragile Masculinities back there?
No, they let me do what I want. But that toxicity is everywhere, and Tucker needs to know he isn't the one in the wrong.
True. Hope it's enough.
Exterior, Big White Resort, terrain park, later. Faith pulls out her best tricks to impress Ripley. She does a backside rodeo 540 that she's still learning and crashes.
You all right?
Yeah, nothing hurt but my pride. I just can't seem to get that trick.
Ripley extends a hand to help her up and out of the path.
That one took me ages to nail. Want some pointers?
Exterior, big white resort, terrain park, later. Begin montage. Ripley demonstrates body positions. Faith tests the trick, falls. Ripley guides Faith's body for her to show the position. Faith falls again, and again, and again. Faith is slow to get up. End montage.
Ugh, let's take a break. I'm starving.
Almost have it.
You also almost broke your tailbone. Is there a tramp park in town? We could work there before I leave.
That would be great.
Coach rides up.
Hey, Faith, got a moment?
Faith looks at Ripley. Ripley nods.
Sure.
I did the research and there's no policy against your participation.
No policy doesn't mean I can.
Up to you, but from my perspective, you're in the clear.
Interior, big white resort, cafe, day. Faith and Ripley eat their food like ravenous teens who burned 1 million calories. Because they pretty much did.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Being friends, but I can do that any day. You're only here for how long?
3 more days, but I don't want to interfere with your friends.
I'd like to think that we're becoming friends.
Ripley unlocks their phone, opens a new contact, and slides it over to Faith. Faith enters her contact info and hands it back.
Since we're friends, can you tell me what's going on if it isn't too personal?
Since we're friends.
Ripley sits taller, bouncing in her seat.
Oh no, it's awkward.
Is that better?
Faith laughs and pulls Ripley's beanie off. Ripley tries to take it back. Faith pulls it over her head and halfway down her face.
This is better. I like your shampoo.
Faith covers her face with her hands.
I can't believe I said it wrong. I'm such a dork.
Ripley lifts the beanie from her eyes.
Cute dork.
Faith hands the beanie back to Ripley.
Is that even your shampoo? How many people wore that thing today?
Ugh, now I have to get a new one. Back to your story.
There's never been a competitive trans snowboarder. There isn't even a policy for trans riders. No one knows people like me exist.
That could be good though. They can't argue that you can't be there if they don't make the rules.
But what happens when someone complains? My life gets turned upside down while people decide what to do with me?
What if no one complained?
That's a big if. And for what? Medals and a little prize money?
Or a career? Faith, you're too good to hide away up here. You're the type of girl sponsors love to throw money at. Talented rider who looks good doing it. They just need to see you.
What happens if things blow up? If you're wrong about this, my life is infinitely harder.
And if I'm right, you gain a totally different life. Don't you want that?
Faith looks down, torn. Ripley reaches out for her hand, resting theirs on Faith's. Faith looks up.
Bonus, our paths cross more often.
Are you always this persuasive?
I usually hear obnoxiously optimistic. Persuasive is better.
Interior, Faith's house, living room, night. Faith walks in to find her parents watching TV.
Leftovers are in the fridge.
I'm not hungry.
Since when?
Since I ate dinner with Ripley.
Faith takes 2 steps forward toward her room.
Nice try. Get back here.
Faith turns around and flops on the couch with an exaggerated sigh.
Ripley's a snowboarder I met this morning. They helped me with my class and we rode together till we grabbed food.
Both parents nod in understanding.
And where is Ripley from?
Colorado.
How old are they?
18, I think. Why does it matter? We were just hanging out. Besides, they're only here for 3 more days.
Interesting answer. Are they cute?
Colorado, 3 days.
That sounds like a yes to me.
All right, family time over.
Exterior, big white resort, lodging, day. Faith and Ripley greet each other with hard-to-control smiles. Ripley wears the pink beanie.
I thought you were getting a new beanie.
I did. Turns out they had the same one in the shop.
From not your style to owning two, that's one powerful beanie.
Good thing I'm riding with you. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. I might buy a flowery pink coat, but black pants because I'm edgy like that. By the time I left, I'd be hitting on guys. Save me, Faith!
What should I do? Flash you?
That's on the table.
Not today, it isn't. Let's hit the slopes before you realize what I just said.
Exterior, big white mountain, day. Begin montage. The videos and pictures are as seen through Ripley's phone. They show Faith as carefree and full of joy. A picture of Faith gazing out from the peak. Video of her flying down a run, throwing in tricks on the small jumps. A picture of Faith in the air grabbing her board. Video of Faith laughing after spraying herself in the face with powder. End montage. Faith leads Ripley to forested area which opens to an expansive view. Snow-covered pine trees cover the ground below them. Mountains rise in the distance. Faith sits and pulls Ripley down next to her.
This is my quiet thinking place.
Someone yells off screen.
Mostly quiet.
So you brought me? I am not good at quiet.
You can leave.
I'll stay.
Ripley falls silent, giving Faith the space she needs.
When Coach asked me to join the team, forgetting that I'm trans, it hit me. I could compete like any other girl. But am I brave enough to risk getting outed?
Simply existing as a trans person in the world makes you braver than most. Never doubt your courage.
Faith stares into the distance.
It can suck to be the first. Oh, no.
That's me. It can suck to be the first. But last June, I did an interview for Pride Month. I didn't think it would matter. No one looks at me and thinks I'm straight. Then I received messages from kids who hadn't known any queer snowboarders. It was weird, like my mere existence gave them permission to ride.
Faith doesn't move. Ripley touches her arm to get her attention.
How many trans kids are wondering if they're allowed to be on the mountain as themselves?
I'm not like you. I need my privacy when people find out they no longer see me as a real girl.
You are a real girl. I'm not the only person who thinks so. Allies exist, but someone needs to blaze a trail.
It doesn't have to be me. It could be you. Why don't you tell the world you're non-binary?
Someday I will, but it won't mean as much. People will shove me into the girl box no matter what I say. It needs to be someone like you.
Faith looks out again.
It's too much. Being out to the world.
I got carried away there. You don't have to be out now, but maybe someday? Either way, let me help you. Say the word and I'll connect you to everyone I know.
That sounds amazing, but please remember this. Whether I choose to be open or not, it needs to be on my terms, no one else's.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith lies in bed looking at Ripley's Instagram. She's been tagged in Ripley's post announcing a surprise discovery in Canada. There are pictures and short clips of Faith from the prior montage. Faith texts Ripley.
What happened to say the word?
Faith scrolls through the pictures, smiling as she waits.
Just tell you my new friend. Read the comments.
Faith reads the comments and stops at one from Jess Summers, a veteran writer Faith respects. Faith calls Ripley.
You know Jess Summers.
Known her for years. Now she knows you.
Is that easy?
It can be.
That's good. I told Coach all right, as long as we keep the trans stuff quiet.
Yes, that's great.
So.
Interior, exterior. Faith's car, day. Faith pulls up to the resort bus stop in an older model sedan and beeps at Ripley. Ripley runs over and hops in the car. They throw their bag in the back seat. Faith pulls away from the curb. The stereo plays a girl punk band.
I love this band. Is this your after school or pre-training playlist?
Today it's both. When do you get back to school?
I don't. Graduated early so I could focus on training this year. All I had to do was promise to go to college someday.
Maybe my parents will let me get away with someday.
You'll be an adult soon and it won't be up to them.
Sure, but parental guilt is potent. They remind you how much they love you and support you, so not fair.
I wouldn't know. My parents are barely around. Doesn't matter which house I'm at, I'm pretty much on my own.
What about your competitions?
Once I could drive myself, they didn't bother. Probably won't until I get in one of the big events like X Games, and even then I won't be surprised if something came up.
What could be more important than riding in an internationally famous competition?
Saving lives.
Wait, what? How does that work?
Mom's a neurologist, Dad's an orthopedic surgeon. Common emergencies in a ski town.
Well, you can borrow my parents and their guilt anytime.
Thanks.
Interior, Kelowna Trampoline Park Day. Faith and Ripley stand next to the trampoline with mini practice boards.
Remember what I said about your shoulder?
Faith tries the trick, only barely missing. She tries again and this time lands it. Exuberant celebration.
Told you I was close.
I knew you'd get it. Let's get it into muscle memory so you have a better chance of landing it on the snow.
Interior, Kelowna Trampoline Park, later. Faith and Ripley turn in their gear. Faith gets a text and returns it.
Oh, my parents are wondering when I'm coming home.
I should get to the bus then.
Faith's phone chimes again.
You could come over for dinner.
Are you sure?
If you don't, you'll get a taste of their parental guilt for yourself.
Dinner it is!
Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, night. Faith and Ripley enter the kitchen.
This must be the infamous Ripley.
Mom.
Not even famous, but thanks for inviting me.
Not famous?
Mom looks at Faith's dad.
Then why did we invite them?
Faith's dad shrugs. Faith rolls her eyes.
Some famous people follow me on Instagram. Does that get me dinner?
I suppose.
Faith walks to the stove.
Now that we've established how weird you are. Tacos.
Ripley snorts out a laugh.
Why don't you kids wash up while we finish?
Faith doesn't hesitate. She grabs Ripley's arm and pulls them to the bathroom. Faith washes her hand.
Is there a handbook to teach parents how to be embarrassing?
Maybe, but your mom got my pronouns right. She's good in my book.
Faith rinses her hands and dries them on a towel. Ripley washes their hands.
I have to ask, were the tacos a lesbian joke, or...?
Faith levels a look to shut Ripley down. Ripley fights their laughter, but only for a few seconds. Faith throws the towel at Ripley, but dissolves into laughter. Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, moments later. Everyone sits at the medium-sized table, each on a side, with Ripley directed across from Faith's mom.
What, no pictures for Instagram?
Ripley pretends to be offended.
Are you implying I post too often?
Wow.
Those posts build my brand, and now yours.
Faith parents go from amused at the kids to intrigued.
I sent those videos to my sponsors. They're impressed.
Really?
Told you they'd love you.
Why would sponsors care about what's happening up here?
Because Faith is good enough to do more than these local competitions. She gets sponsors, she can travel to bigger events.
Both parents look at Faith.
Travel? I thought this was a local team.
It is. We were just talking, nothing serious.
Talking to sponsors sounds serious.
I didn't ask them to.
Ripley ducks their head. Faith is remorseful.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You didn't do anything wrong.
I can be too enthusiastic, but Faith is good. She deserves the same opportunities as anyone else.
Well, yes, she deserves it, but life isn't that simple.
I know. We talked about it. But don't worry, I didn't tell anyone that Faith's trans.
Then how do you know if they're allies?
You want me to ask?
No, of course not. But I don't want to get Faith to get her hopes up just to have them crash to the ground.
I wouldn't ride for a company that hinted at transphobia, but no matter what, I have her back.
That's great, but we're her parents. Protecting her is our job.
With all due respect.
Hold up. While I appreciate all of you, this is my life. I'll be 18 in a few months. Shouldn't I be able to make my own decisions?
Faith looks at each parent in turn. Faith's parents exchange a worried look. They turn back to Faith.
I don't like it at all.
Faith lowers her head in disappointment.
But this is your choice to make.
Faith looks at her dad.
Really? Thank you.
Exterior, Kelowna, Knox Mountain Park, day. Faith and Ripley walk along Paul's Tomb Trail, a tree-lined gravel path above a massive lake. Faith stops and faces a half-moon-shaped cement slab built into a hill with the date 1910 on it.
I couldn't bring you here without showing you the tomb. It's easy to miss.
Maybe that's what they're going for. Lure us into complacency until there's a solar flare and boom! Mr. Paul returns a zombie.
Really?
What, you don't believe in zombies? For all you know, I'm a zombie in disguise.
Faith crosses her arms and eyes Ripley skeptically. Ripley raises their arms and walks stiffly towards Faith.
Which is why I must eat your brain. With syrup or gravy? Canadian brain.
Faith doesn't move and Ripley doesn't stop. In a few steps, Ripley wraps their arm around Faith, playfully biting Faith's hat. Faith squeals and takes off running down the trail. Ripley catches up and hugs her from behind. Faith holds Ripley's arms as they laugh together. Faith turns around, still in the embrace. Their gazes lock. Ripley's eyes flick to Faith's lips. Faith's hands cup Ripley's cheeks. Ripley's eyes fall closed. Faith leans in and kisses Ripley. Their kiss is soft, gentle. Feelings that can't be denied, even if they can't be together. Ripley grips Faith's coat, kissing her back. They ease apart, and Ripley blurts out their thoughts.
Come to Colorado.
Faith takes a step back and tries to make sense of Ripley.
Don't you think that's moving a little fast?
No, that's not what I meant. A visit to check out the scene.
Faith tries to hide her disappointment.
I'm doing this wrong. I was thinking how amazing you are and how much it sucked I had to leave when we would see each other again months, years. No way. You have to visit.
I want to, but international travel is a little expensive.
I have loads of frequent flyer miles. You can stay with me at my dad's.
You live with your dad, slacker.
It's free housing and he's barely around.
No, having a logical reason takes the fun out of teasing you.
Then you'll have to try harder.
Faith steps close. Ripley closes her eyes. Faith kisses her on the cheek. She steps back, laughing.
I take it back. Don't try so hard.
Exterior, Big White Resort, lodging, night. Faith and Ripley slow as they approach Ripley's door.
Do you want to come in?
Yes. My parents will call if I'm late. I need to stay on their good side if I want to visit.
Makes sense. Guess I'll start packing.
You haven't packed? You leave in the morning.
Ripley shrugs and offers a roguish smile. They open their arms. Faith steps into the hug, and they linger. Faith kisses Ripley's cheek. Ripley opens the door and walks backwards, bumping into the frame. Faith laughs and waves. Ripley shuts the door. Exterior, Big White Resort, terrain park, day. Faith stands with the snowboarding team at practice.
Listen up. Faith is on the team now.
A few riders hoot and holler.
That's enough. The next competition is a week away. Show me what you've got.
The first rider takes off.
Finally get to ride with you. Resort fling left?
Hey, at least Ripley is real, unlike your girlfriend.
My girlfriend is real, but I've never put her before you.
Because she isn't real.
Jake calls to Dylan, 15, who is standing nearby.
Dylan, you met Kat at our last competition. Tell Faith she's real.
Why?
Because Jake's jealous. Because Jake's jealous that I spent the week riding with Ripley Weaver instead of him.
Because you think she's cute.
Dude, I'm gay and I'd ride with Ripley over anyone here too. She's a badass.
They are a very cute badass.
Slacking already, Faith?
Never, coach. Let's ride, future gay best friend.
Jake is annoyed, but follows them. Exterior, Big White Resort, competition staging area, day. Faith nervously watches the competitors warming up, waiting her turn at a practice run. Jake stands close to his girlfriend, Kat, 17, in the staging area. He's entirely focused on her. Faith starts her practice run. Kat follows Faith's every move. Jake follows Kat's gaze.
That's Faith.
Your friend? Why haven't I seen her before?
She's not big on the team thing. Don't worry, you're better than her.
I know that.
Exterior, Big White Resort, competition staging area, later. Faith looks between Jake and Kat.
Faith, this is Kat.
Faith only glances at Kat, her attention on teasing Jake.
All right, she's real. Unless you hired her.
Did you just call me a prostitute?
No, Jake's sex life is the last thing I want to think about.
Because you're jealous?
Exterior, Big White Resort, starting gate, later. Faith takes a couple hops on her board, slaps her helmet, and takes off. Faith hits the first rail tense. She fails to lock into the slide. Faith throws at 180 off the rail, a trick she can land in her sleep. Her board slips. Faith has to catch herself with her hand.
Seriously?
Her face is grim, focusing on the next feature. To make up for the first, she goes for a harder trick, but is wobbling.
Come on.
Pissed off, she picks up speed for the big jump. When she takes air, she over-rotates and falls on the landing. She rides to the end, shaking her head. Faith stares at her board until her score is given. It's not good enough to make finals. She walks away disappointed. Coach intercepts her.
Hey, what happened?
I choked.
Clearly. Why?
You saw the girl before me.
Nobody wins in the first round. Your job is to make finals. That's all. Got it?
Yeah.
Faith turns to watch Kat land the trick that Faith fell on. More than anything, Faith wants to beat her. Exterior, Big White Resort, competition staging area, later. Faith ignores everyone around her. Kat speaks loudly so Faith can hear her.
Are you sure you're in the right division, Faith? That run wouldn't beat a 6-year-old.
Harsh.
Faith looks up, stung at the unintended implication of Kat's comment. Kat looks at Jake.
But true.
That's how it is. You choose your girlfriend over your best friend now.
Like you did with Ripley?
Ripley's not my girlfriend.
Kat looks disgusted.
And Dylan?
Not a girl.
Close enough.
Dude, did you just call Dylan a girl because he's gay?
Well, I didn't say that.
Ugh. Is everyone gay here?
Kat looks Faith up and down. No one speaks.
You really know how to pick him.
Faith walks away. After a few steps, she pulls out her phone to text Ripley.
Could use a pep talk.
Faith watches her phone for a few steps. She stumbles on the snow and releases a frustrated growl. Faith glares at the ground. She checks her phone again. With no messages, she puts it away. Exterior, Big White Resort, starting gate, later. Faith checks her phone, still no message. She's called forward. Faith checks her bindings and taps her helmet. This run, Faith is more aggressive with her tricks. She makes it through the rails cleanly. At the jump, she throws the backside rodeo 540 that Ripley helped with. She fails to spot the landing and falls hard. Faith pounds the ground once with her fist. Exterior, Big White Resort, later. Kat stands at the top of the podium, smiling smugly. She jumps down. Jake wraps Kat into an overly affectionate hug and kisses her.
You were awesome.
Of course I was. Looks like Faith couldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah, I've never seen her ride so bad. Normally she hangs with us guys, no problem. Sometimes I think there's still some boy in her.
Kat steps back.
What do you mean, some boy?
Jake freezes.
I mean, Faith was born a boy, but she's all girl now. I don't know why I said that. She's gonna kill me.
Kat crosses her arm and glares at Jake.
And do you think that's fair?
Well, Faith says it is. Something about hormone blockers. It's complicated.
How convenient for her. I need to talk to the organizers.
Kat storms off. Jake gets ahead of her.
Oh, well, let me talk to her. If you bring it up now, she'll get all the attention, and no one will remember who won.
Fine, but I better not see her again.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith hides in her room, eating consolation ice cream when she receives a FaceTime request. Faith sets her ice cream aside while the video connects. Ripley sits in the snow on an artificially lit mountain.
Hey, sorry I missed your text. How'd it go?
Faith lowers her gaze.
You're muted.
Worse than expected.
How? Did someone out you? Do I have to fly up there and punch someone?
Faith smiles at Ripley's protectiveness.
No, I just bombed spectacularly.
The first competition, they put me in the boys' heat because they didn't bother to read my entry form. The teasing I got was brutal.
That sucks. I can't blame anything except nerves from my first run and then Jake and his homophobic girlfriend.
Seriously?
Yeah, I tried to put homophobe Barbie in her place, but couldn't even land the back rodeo 5 and didn't even make finals. Today sucked. Maybe the competition route was a bad idea.
Or you need a different scene. There are resort-hosted contests all over. Way more chill.
Tell me later. Right now all I'm focusing on is ice cream.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith, wearing leggings and a sports bra, stares at her bed, which is covered in workout shirts. Her phone lights up with a notification. She grabs it to find Ripley's text.
Chicken out?
Faith grabs a random shirt and rushes to her computer. She connects to the video chat. Ripley wears shorts, a sports bra, and a tight men's tank top.
I thought I'd have to work out alone.
This is changing.
You always change after you log in.
Oh, sure. And then my parents walk in and I can't leave the house until I'm 18. Work now, flirt later.
Yes, ma'am.
They both step back from their computers for a serious workout. Squats, jump squats, lunges, push-ups.
Bet I can hold my plank longer.
Oh, you're on.
They grow progressively sweatier until Faith collapses. Ripley follows.
I shouldn't have done that. We still have side planks.
Faith groans and grabs a drink of water. She takes her shirt off, using it to swipe the sweat from her face.
That's not fair.
Faith looks down and realizes what she did, then shrugs.
Now it's focus training. Besides, look at you.
I work out.
Ripley gives a playful smirk. Faith shakes her head but can't resist smiling.
Prove it.
Interior, high school, day. Jake walks up to Faith at school. Faith tries to avoid him, but he stops her.
Hey, can we talk?
Unless you want to apologize. No.
Well, what's the big deal? We give each other crap all the time.
Yeah, because we're friends. Kat hasn't earned that privilege. You should have called her out.
Yeah, but that would have messed up our weekend.
So you screwed up mine to keep your girlfriend happy? Thank you.
Well, sorry.
I don't get it. You could do better.
You saw her. She's hot.
Couldn't see it through her attitude. I can't wait to see how she reacts when I beat her.
You're still competing?
Why wouldn't I?
Well, because you choked.
Don't give up that easily.
God, you never know when to quit. You think the judges will forget how bad you did? Save yourself the embarrassment.
Faith stares at him.
Who are you?
Your best friend.
Faith scoffs and walks away. Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, day. Faith calls Ripley as soon as she gets home from school. Ripley is in their parked car, about to head home from a day of riding.
When's the next contest?
They'll host one in 2 weeks. You want to come?
Obviously, but there's no way my parents are going to pay for it.
Got you covered. Frequent flyer miles. Free 4-star lodging with my dad. I'll cover your meals. Easy.
Are you going to be my sugar mama? Or sugar person? That sounds like a cookie.
Well, I am sweet.
Faith gives them an already familiar look.
But really, it's my dad's money, so...
Oh, no. Just no.
Faith and Ripley both laugh at the absurdity.
Take it back!
Interior, Faith's house, living room, later. Faith's parents watch TV in the living room. She walks into the room.
Before you say no, hear me out.
Her dad pauses what they're watching. They look at Faith.
The day sucked. Ripley thinks it would help if I did an unsanctioned event.
Faith holds up a hand before they can ask questions.
Just let me get this all out first.
Her mom covers her mouth with her hand dramatically. Her dad folds his hands in his lap. Faith takes a deep breath.
There's an event in 2 weeks in Colorado. Ripley offered their frequent flyer miles. I can stay at their place with their dad, so it's practically free, and I'll pick up extra shifts to pay for anything else. Can I go?
Faith looks between them.
Is this just to see Ripley?
No. I need to know if competitive snowboarding is what I really want.
And you can't determine that in Canada?
I don't know, but Ripley's been around the scene a while. They said this one would be good for me.
International travel. By yourself.
What if you have problems with airport security?
The only way they'd know is if they did a strip search, and there's no reason for that.
What if you get hurt and the doctor's transphobic?
Ripley's parents are doctors. I'm sure they can help, but I don't plan on getting hurt.
Oh, is that how it works now? Life goes according to plan because Faith says so?
Well, no, but...
Do Ripley's parents know?
I don't know. We didn't get into the details, but we will.
Silence.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong, but what if they go right? This might be my best shot. I want to take it.
Faith's parents look at each other. Dad crosses his arms. Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, day. Faith and her parents huddle around Faith's laptop. Dr. Weaver, 48, dominates the screen. He carries himself with confidence, a man used to being respected. Ripley stands beside him.
We're concerned about Faith traveling on her own.
I've never worried about Ripley. I'm sure Faith will be fine.
Well, travel is riskier for trans kids.
Faith slips behind her parents and pulls out her phone. She remains visible. Intercut, Faith's text with Ripley and the video chat. Texts pop up on the screen as they happen. Dr. Weaver's video chat appears.
This is weird.
Ripley pulls their phone out and hides it from view.
Her biggest risk could come with an injury. If Faith needs medical care, can we count on you to be her advocate?
So weird.
I'm sure my colleagues would treat her like any other patient.
Oh, people can surprise us with their hidden prejudices.
Certainly, I'll treat her no different than if Ripley were hurt.
I'd be concerned.
Thank you.
Doesn't matter. They'll have to drag me off that ambulance if you get hurt.
Do you have a guest room? I know how teenagers can be.
Oh.
I trust they'll make good choices.
Faith's mom laughs. Ripley texts a facepalm emoji.
On the snow? Maybe. Alone in a bedroom? No way.
Faith slides to the floor as if she can hide from the scene playing out before her.
I understand. I'll have a guest room ready for her when she arrives.
We appreciate it.
$10 says he never checks on us.
Faith stares at her phone, thumbs hovering. Interior, Denver International Airport arrivals area, night. Ripley spots Faith in the crowd of passengers and moves toward her. Faith meets them halfway. They share an enthusiastic hug. Ripley takes Faith's bag. They walk inches apart to baggage claim. Interior, Ripley's house, kitchen, night. The house is much larger than Faith's, decorated in a typical mountain style with wood and stone elements inside and out. Faith and Ripley walk into the kitchen. Ripley sets Faith's gear down and picks up a note sitting on Ripley
Kitchen, there's plenty of food. Help yourself, seriously. Here's a bathroom, and here's your room. It's boring, but my dad threatened to check my room when he got home.
Can I see your room?
Did we lose Jessica?
Yes, we lost Jessica.
I'm
They
back.
just came
Sorry.
back.
I'm back.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Awesome. We got to, my dad threatened to check my room when he got home. So
Ripley walks into a room that looks straight out of a home decorating magazine. Faith walks in and sets her backpack and suitcase down. Ripley puts her snowboard in the corner.
Can I see your room?
Ripley's eyes light up. They grab Faith's hand and pull her from the room, almost running toward the glowing doorway. Rainbow LED lights hang around the bed. There's a workspace in one corner with random snowboard and skateboard parts, workout gear, art supplies, video games, a guitar, drums. The room screams ADHD.
You're a musician?
nope, I just bang away till I get bored. Surely counts as punk.
Play something for me.
Yeah.
Ripley turns on the amp and picks up the guitar. Ripley plays, but it doesn't sound like any particular song, just distorted power chords. Faith is charmed anyway. Dr. Weaver appears in the doorway unnoticed. Ripley looks up and stops playing. Faith sees Dr. Weaver and stops laughing.
Hey, Dad. Done already?
Yes. Hi, Faith.
Hi.
It's late. Time to get some sleep. Will I need to check on you too?
They shake their heads. He appears satisfied and leaves. They look at each other and snicker. Ripley takes off the guitar and leads it against the amp.
Here's the trick with my dad. Follow the rules once and he assumes the rules are always followed.
Faith averts her gaze.
Here's the thing.
Ripley's face falls.
It's okay, I'm cool with just being friends. I shouldn't assume.
Faith notices Ripley's mood shift and walks over to them. She takes their hand, eyes lingering on their joined hands.
Ripley, that's not what I was going to say.
Ripley looks up.
I need focus. That means I can't get distracted by how ridiculously adorable you are with your messy hair and whatever you just played. Let me get through Saturday and we'll see what happens.
A smile returns to Ripley's face.
I get it. For real this time. Can I have a good night hug at least?
Faith melts into Ripley's embrace. She pulls back, considering kissing Ripley despite what she'd just said. Dr. Weaver's voice can be heard answering the phone.
Hello?
They break apart.
Good night, Ripley.
Night.
Interior, Ripley's house, guest room, moments later. Faith rolls over in bed with a groan, then grabs her phone.
Stop being so distracting.
Interior, Ripley's house, Ripley's bedroom, same time. Ripley laughs at their phone.
You first.
Exterior, Vale Resort, chairlift line, day. Ripley and Faith stand in line for the chairlift. Faith's excitement is palpable as she looks around. Ripley sneaks a picture of Faith. Zach, 20, logs over calling for Ripley. Ripley and Zach exchange fist bumps.
Hey, Ripley, who's your friend? And is she single?
It's Faith, the girl I met in Canada.
Right, the girl you won't stop talking about.
Oh?
Faith looks at Ripley.
Do you want me to answer that? That might qualify as a distraction.
They exchange a flirtatious look.
Tomorrow night.
Exterior, Vale Resort, ski lift later. The three of them sit on the ski lift with Ripley in the middle.
Are you riding tomorrow, Faith?
Unless I change my mind.
Ripley whips their head around.
What? No way you're chickening out.
I'm just messing with you.
Faith looks down to see the bottom of the terrain park come into view. She pulls out her phone to take a picture, then looks at Zach, who's on the far end of the bench.
Can you take a picture of us?
He takes the phone.
Move back.
Faith wraps her arm over Ripley's shoulder and pulls them back against her. Zach takes the picture. Ripley lingers until Zach hands the phone back. Faith and Ripley remain close as they both look at the picture.
Please send it to me.
Of course, but maybe avoid posting it on Instagram. Not everything needs to be shared with the world.
Sure.
Faith texts the picture. Before she can put her phone away, she gets a text from Jake.
Where are you?
Damn it.
What's wrong?
Faith types out a quick text that says, Colorado, and sends it.
I left without telling Jake. Now he's bugging me.
No, seriously, where are you?
Faith sends a picture of the view.
Why didn't you tell Jake?
I don't want to get in my head. He's the last person I want to talk to about snowboarding.
Faith shakes her head as a text comes through. She shows it to Ripley.
And that's why.
You bomb and think Colorado is going to help? Ballsy.
Are you friends with him again?
Wasn't always an asshole.
Faith puts her phone away.
Deal with him when I get home.
Exterior, Vail Resort, Terrain Park, later. Zach goes first, Faith second, and Ripley third. They're all having a blast on the features. Zach fails on a trick. Hard. Faith is closest and checks on him.
You okay?
Yeah, story of the year. Grow, fall, a lot, adjust, repeat.
Sucks. How do you handle it?
I get back up and go again. What else is there?
Oh, I don't know. Whining and giving up like Jake does?
This life isn't for everyone.
Zach gets up with a grin.
I'm good. Let's go.
Interior, Ripley's house, Ripley's bedroom, night. Ripley's in their room, flipping through pictures of Faith on their phone. They get a text from Zach.
Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Faith?
11. No, 12.
You hook up yet?
No, I want more than a hookup. Why does she have to be Canadian?
Bad luck, dude.
Ripley flicks back to her photos. Interior, Ripley's house, guest room, night. Faith lies in bed scrolling through pictures of Ripley. A reminder pops up on her phone that says, go to sleep. Faith texts Ripley. Seconds later, Ripley sneaks into the room. Faith sits up. Ripley sits on the edge of the bed. They whisper to avoid being caught.
You're muted.
Can't sleep. Too nervous.
Nothing to be nervous about. Everyone's just having fun.
I bomb again.
Not possible. There's no one here to mess with your head.
Except you.
Am I really a problem?
Yes. But a good one.
Ripley leans down and gives Faith a lingering but chaste kiss on the lips.
For luck. For both of us.
Exterior, Vail Resort, Terrain Park, day. It's the day of the competition. Riders mill about with 10 by 10 tents set up for vendors. The atmosphere is more relaxed than the competition in Canada. Ripley spies Shane, a fit woman in her 40s, and strides over with Faith. Shane waves.
Ripley, I thought I'd see you here.
I wouldn't miss it.
Ripley turns to Faith.
Shane's a writer with Snowboarder magazine.
That's awesome. I read every issue the day it comes out.
That's what I like to hear.
This is my friend Faith. She's competing today too. Make sure your camera's ready.
I will. Always fun to discover new talent.
Exterior, Vail Resort, competition starting gate, day. Faith and Ripley stand in the waiting area for their turn. Faith fidgets, nervous despite Ripley's calm demeanor.
Put your headphones in. Find your zone. I'm right behind you.
Sorry. Faith pulls out her phone and cues up a song. She leaves one headphone out. The person manning the start calls out Faith's number. Ripley fist bumps her.
You got this.
Faith moves to the start, puts in her headphone, and starts the song. She moves her body slightly with the beat. The staffer nods, and Faith begins her run. Faith looks relaxed and focused. She hits the first rail and nails her board slide, throwing a 360 off the rail. Feeling confident, she throws a more difficult trick, a backside 180 to a 50-50 and cab off the next feature. At the first jump, she goes for style over difficulty, a 360 with a grab. When she lands it clean, her lips quirk, but she's focused on the last big jump. Faith finishes her run with a frontside cork 540, an off-axis spin that turns heads. She lands smooth and pulls to a stop, beaming. She pulls her headphones out to await her score. And Faith's scores are solid. Any traces of nervousness are gone. She takes her time walking back to watch Ripley's run. Their run is flawless. Ending in a backside cork 540, Faith cheers. Exterior, Vail Resort, competition base area, day. Ripley runs to give Faith a celebratory hug.
You made finals!
How? Those girls are better than me.
They weren't today. Were you thinking about them on your run?
No.
Good. Do that again.
Faith shakes her head. Zach walks up.
Way to rip, Rip! Better keep it up or Faith's gonna beat you.
No one would cheer louder if she did.
Don't you care how you finish?
Sure, but I'm competing against myself, no one else. That's outside of my control.
Jedi Ripley dropping wisdom.
The Force you must use, Faith.
Faith laughs. Ripley attempts a sage nod. Zach mirrors them. Exterior, Vail Resort, competition starting gate, day. It's the final round. Faith looks to Ripley for reassurance.
Use the Force.
Faith laughs. She puts her headphones in. Her eyes focus on the course ahead of her. Faith's run flows through the rail section. Her jumps are clean and relaxed. We see who Faith can be when she is riding at her best. Exterior, Vail Resort, terrain park, later. Ripley stands on the podium in second place. Faith next to the podium in fourth. Pictures are taken. Faith and Ripley walk away from the podium as they talk.
That was amazing. I can't believe it. Fourth place.
We need to celebrate. I have my dad's credit card so we can go anywhere we want.
Faith falters, eyes wide. Ripley looks at Faith, confused.
What's wrong? You gave me permission if that's what you're worried about.
No, is Jess Summers here?
Ripley looks over, spots Jess Summers, 28, and grins.
Oh yeah, she's riding later. Let's go say hi.
Ripley tugs Faith forward, eyes wide. Jess turns and smiles at Ripley as she approaches. They greet each other with warm hugs.
Ripley, nice job today. And you? I'm Jess.
I know. I mean, thank you.
Faith's a bit starstruck.
Faith shoots Ripley a look.
That wears off fast, right, Ripley? It took all of a season before you went from following me like a puppy to barely nodding on the slopes.
Ripley gives her the nod, and they both laugh. Exterior, Vail Village, night. Ripley and Faith walk along the river trail.
When will I see you again?
My next competition is in a few weeks. Want to fly up?
Definitely. The more I get to know you, the less I want to be friends.
Do you want to try that again?
I mean, I want to be more than friends. This distance situation sucks.
What if, just for tonight, we pretend I'm not leaving in the morning, that our dinner was a date instead of a celebration?
Ripley takes Faith's hand.
This is a romantic walk where we pretend I'm actually smooth.
Doing well so far.
They take a few steps in silence.
If this is a date, does that mean I can kiss you?
Faith stops walking and pulls Ripley to her.
You better.
Ripley kisses Faith tenderly.
How was it? Did I stick the landing?
So close.
Exterior, Ripley's back porch, hanging cabana, later. Faith and Ripley stretch out in a large hanging cabana on the massive porch. A lit fire pit illuminates them.
I need to do some serious planning when I get home. I don't work nearly enough hours at the resort to hit all the contests you do. How do you do it?
My travel expenses go on my dad's card.
What happens when he stops paying? Do you know how much you need to live?
Ripley fidgets uncomfortably, not looking at Faith.
Don't think less of me, but I'm awful with money. I have so many half-finished spreadsheets, it's embarrassing.
Faith reaches for Ripley's hand.
Would you let me help? I happen to make a sick spreadsheet.
Ripley bursts out laughing.
Do you doubt me?
Never. I have faith.
Oh.
Faith groans and rolls closer to Ripley. She kisses Ripley. Interior, Ripley's house. Guest room, Ripley's bedroom. Night. Faith lies in the guest bed, staring at the ceiling. She jumps out of bed, grabs her water bottle and phone, and sneaks to Ripley's room. Faith taps on the door and listens for movement. Ripley answers shortly after, hair extra mussed.
What's wrong?
Sleep.
Either.
There's an awkward pause.
You can not sleep with me? No, that's not right. Do you want to sleep with me? Wait, no, that's worse. I mean, nothing sexual, just...
Adeline?
Yeah.
Faith gives Ripley a kiss on the cheek and walks toward the bed, and they curl into bed together.
All right.
Interior, Jake's bedroom, day.
That's where
Jake receives a text from Kat with a screenshot of Faith and Ripley on the podium.
We're going to take a break right there.
Yes?
Break.
Okay.
Oh, right. Sorry.
No problem. All right. So
Right,
everybody
just
will
here at the end.
See you at the top of the hour, okay?
Thank you, Nine.
Thank you.
Everyone's doing a great job, though.
Thank you, Jax.
You are coaching the coachingness. I don't even know. You're doing great. You're a good coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Also, Erin, I have not seen you in like 2 years.
It's been literally years. How are you?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks. How are you?
Thanks.
Haven't seen Jessica in that long either.
Right. I've forgotten if you'd met Jessica even.
Yeah. No, I
Everybody should meet Jessica. She's great.
Yeah, I agree.
She's killing it too. Like seriously, we're like Jessica is doing an amazing job narrating.
I know.
Oh, what?
You're doing an
a great
amazing job. And Jax, do we have the same glasses?
Thanks.
I have no idea. Did yours come from Walmart? Like,
Zenny, they're for children. They were like $50 and I have astigmatism.
Yeah, same. No clue.
Also, sorry about the motorcycles. I have no control over them.
Where are
All
you?
good.
Is there like one long road behind you?
Yes. It makes recording for voiceover very, very interesting.
You have like a little closet that you can go into that's all padded
Sadly, no. I think I'm gonna have to just get my car.
out. That might work as long as it's not on the same road as the motorcycles.
No, I can go a little inland with the car. It's mobile. So far it's mobile.
Very good.
Then you can go really cool places to record. I mean,
Yes.
there's a lot of benefits to it.
It's like random seedy parking garage.
Yeah.
And then
That's
they
right,
never
you
see
So
me again.
wherever it says interior, exterior, just do the location plug and be there. Ocean. You can just go to Malibu or something.
Yeah. It's fun y'all are talking about MREs because it's like I'm that idiot civilian who looks at them on Amazon and is like, do I even dare? And they are like super overpriced for what you get.
True. What's weird is so I live near an Air Force base and you can actually buy MREs in the commissary. And I'm just like, why? Why would you voluntarily go and buy MREs for any reason?
For the same reason that you buy those, like if you've been to like Target and stuff and seen like how baby food comes in pouches now and it's like chicken and banana.
I hope not.
See,
Oh, my brother
I
had
remember MREs. I remember MREs because when I was growing up and went through the scouts, oftentimes the choices were, do I trust this like 12-year-old with my food? Thank you, sweetheart. Water. Do I trust a 12-year-old with food, or do I trust an MRE? And most of the time you trust the MRE.
That's fair.
Standardized at least.
And we had an uncle who gave us MREs for a birthday present one time, which was kind of weird. And as kids, we I think we ate, there was like Oreos or something, I don't remember, but we didn't eat the rest. But the dog stole it from behind our backs, threw it up, and then ate it again. And my dad was like, even the dog likes it better heated.
Oh, God. See, in fairness, that is true. You need them heated, but they don't let civilians like just buy MREs with the heaters. That's like a legit thing. And so yeah, I don't know.
The heaters
it's definitely
aren't
better
expensive,
heated.
though. You can always get a portable heater. It's pretty
Totally.
easy. I recommend if you go camping that you stock up on some MREs. They've gotten so much better. The vegetarian and the halal ones are the best. If you don't get any breakfast ones, but if you want the best, look for the vegetarian and the halal. Those are by far the best for some reason. I can't remember which ones have M&Ms in them.
I don't.
Those are
I
the
think
ones
it
we'd
depends
always
on
fight for.
what decade you get the MRE from, as to whether or not it has M&Ms or lifesavers or I don't know, weird
I don't know
stuff.
how lifesavers would hold.
Oh, lifesavers will last forever. That's the good part.
I'm thinking Starburst.
The M&Ms, yeah, but as long as you don't crush the M&Ms, they're fine. So it's just a matter of you need to eat it when you eat the MRE, because once you shove that in your pack, it's going to be crushed and it won't be as yummy. But chocolate, you can get chocolate in MRE. That's like the greatest thing ever.
Wait, they all don't have chocolate? I feel like that would be like
they
a
all have like
a throwback to just have chocolate.
Yeah.
They all have a dessert of some type, some kind of snack in there. But no, I wish they all had chocolate. But yeah.
Yep.
Way back in World War II, they put Hershey bars as part of the rations. And I've often, I have eaten more Hershey bars during this pandemic than I probably did in the 3 years before they're combined, because I was like, comfort food, Hershey bar. I know I'll enjoy that. And then here's the trick. You put it in the microwave for 18 seconds so it gets slightly soft, and then you eat it with a spoon.
There you go. I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick because I just realized I should probably do that. I'll be back too.
Hey, Erin, you look really familiar. So I looked up on your IMDb. You were in Two Broke Girls?
Yeah, I for 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. God,
yeah, not in a way
man,
that was
so familiar, and I couldn't. I never watched The Fosters. I never. Looking at your IMDb right now, I'm like, man, cannot place you.
Good.
Good. You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to go, damn.
Oh, well, maybe if I go a couple more years of work and don't get recognized, I will transition to damn.
With any luck, you'll get something here shortly. I mean, the movement is toward a much more diverse casting. So fingers crossed that gender divergent people are going to be seeing the forefront of everything soon.
Absolutely. And we can all take a page from Jack's book and write employment for ourselves in the meantime, maybe.
Yes.
Norman Lear has a sitcom coming out on Peacock that's fronted by Laverne Cox. And then there are 2 other sitcoms and 1 drama that I know of. I can't remember what the sitcoms are called though. That all have gender divergent main characters in them too. So,
Something to look forward to.
Yep. Yep. Every single one of my sitcoms has a person who is not cisgender as well.
Nice.
Gotta write the stuff.
What's the plot of the one you're working on right now?
Which one?
Well, are you kind of jump around, or can you focus on one?
The one I'm working on for the program right now is called Hot Air, and it has gender nonconforming fraternal twins. So one ANABGNC and one AFAB, gender nonconforming. And the AFAB, gender nonconforming, is also asexual because there are no asexual characters.
Right?
None.
Like my arrow ace ass thanks you forever for this.
And so I have them, and they both use they, them pronouns. So the comical part is their father, who is a ultra-conservative retired Army major, who's half Navajo, half white, and he uses it. He goes for his white part. He denies his Navajo heritage. Says they are just idiots, using the plural, and they're like, "You finally got our pronouns right. Thank you." And he's like, "What the hell are you talking about? You're fucking idiots."
Like who's on first kind of deal?
Yeah, basically. So it plays off of that whole thing where my father was a lot like my anti-protagonist. So I get to pull off of everything that he got to say to me growing up. But yeah, and then I have another one that is loosely semi-autobiographical that has a lead gender nonconforming, AMAB gender nonconforming. Their love interest is a trans woman that's ex-military. And then I have another one that's all military. It's like Cheers, but in a military hall. And the main character is a ex-Navy SEAL trans woman. And she's based on a real person that I know who is an ex-Navy SEAL and is trans. So you just gotta get it out there. What? What's that?
Is she an actor?
No, she's not. She has, you can see a story about her on Amazon Prime. Shoot, I forgot what it's called now. Valor.
Okay.
Christine Beck. Yeah, she's highly decorated Navy SEAL, and last I heard, she has applied for a position in Biden's administration. And as we know, Biden has appointed a few trans people into his administration, so that's nice to see. But anyway, I am rambling on past our time. If everyone's back, we can get started. Do we have, Jessica is not back yet, right? We're waiting on, all right, so as soon as Jessica comes back, okay, there we go. You all ready, Jessica?
Yeah, one moment.
Yeah.
To make sure the lighting's right.
Yeah, good lighting. All right. Ready when you are, Jessica.
Sorry, one more thing. I got to turn down the brightness on my phone so it lasts. Okay. Interior, Jake's bedroom, day. Jake receives a text from Kat with a screenshot of Faith and Ripley on the podium.
You said she'd quit.
I didn't know about this.
I'm reporting her.
Jake FaceTimes Kat.
Please don't. It will destroy her.
What about everyone she beat? Boys and girls are in separate divisions for a reason.
Well, yeah, of course.
Faith is cheating. She needs to be stopped.
Interior, Ripley's house, Ripley's bedroom, day. Ripley sits at the edge of her bed reading comments on Instagram. She gets a new private message from Snowcat.
How can you be a lesbian if your girlfriend isn't a real girl?
None of your business.
Do you think your fans would agree? Your sponsors?
I don't care.
I bet Canada Snowboard will.
Ripley stares at the screen, looks around for Faith, then responds.
What's your problem?
A new message comes in, this time from Jake.
You have to get Faith to quit competing.
What the hell is going on? Why?
Because someone found out and will out her if she doesn't stop.
You mean Snowcat? We're acquainted.
Well, she's serious. Talk to Faith.
Faith walks into the room, hair damp from her shower. Ripley stands and puts their phone away. They walk toward Faith. Ripley tries to act normal, but Faith picks up on the tension.
Back to reality, huh?
We still have a few hours.
Interior, Denver International Airport departures, day. Faith and Ripley stand inside the airport with Faith's gear. Faith pulls out her phone and sees a text from Jake.
Did Ripley talk to you?
Faith looks at Ripley.
You talked to Jake?
What is his problem?
What's going on, Ripley?
Ripley fidgets.
Ripley, just tell me.
Jake said someone's threatening to out you. I don't know who she is. We exchanged messages on Instagram.
Faith grows still.
Show me.
Ripley pulls out their phone and shows Faith the account. Faith grows visibly angry as she stares at the phone. Faith opens her contacts and hits Jake's number.
I'm going to kill him.
Who?
What the hell? You told your homophobic girlfriend that I'm trans? What were you thinking? Never mind. I can guess. Don't call back.
Faith hangs up and takes a moment to shove her anger down. Then she turns to Ripley.
You should have told me.
I was going to.
When, Ripley? Were you going to stop me right before security to say my best friend is going to let his girlfriend ruin my life?
No, I left early so we had time to talk. It's not my fault he beat me to it, nor is his idiocy my fault either. I'm not the enemy.
Faith paces in frustration. Ripley vibrates with anxiety. Ripley laughs mirthlessly. Faith stops pacing and looks at them.
I just realized how stupid this all is. I'm the one who gets challenged on my gender daily, but you? No one would guess.
And yet I'm not woman enough for some people.
Ripley takes Faith's hand. They exchange a weighted look. Ripley wants to express their feelings for Faith, but doesn't.
What if he told her on purpose?
Why would he do that?
When we were younger, we talk of traveling the world, snowboarding every mountain, dreaming of a world beyond our town. But this year he lost his drive, blew off training, complained all the time.
Now you're out here building a future.
What if he's trying to keep me from leaving?
Could he have feelings for you?
He knows I'm not into guys.
That's not how feelings work.
Right now, I can't begin to care. He could ruin everything.
Not everything. You still have me. Let me help.
How?
I don't know yet. We'll find a way to fix this.
How can you still be so optimistic? That's what got me into this mess.
Ripley recoils.
I won't apologize for believing in you or helping you go for your dreams. Who's on first?
It looks like they froze, maybe.
Oh, yeah, they froze. That would do it.
Looks like Erin disconnected and maybe is trying to reconnect. Okay.
I'll pick up from, I won't believe, apologize. Yeah. You back?
why you always have a backup plan.
Maybe Jessica, you can just read the parts that are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're moving.
We just keep going.
Yeah.
Are they back?
Almost.
Almost?
It's this thing. It went out on me, so it should be coming back in just a moment. Yeah, there it is. One sec. Sorry.
All good.
Okay, now I see you. Sorry, everyone. How about now?
You've been moving, yeah.
Okay. Okay, where did it cut out?
I won't apologize for believing in you or helping you go for your dreams.
I need to go.
Faith, please. You don't have to face this alone.
Maybe I do. This is my life, my repercussions. I need to handle this on my terms. Somehow I can't have you in my head while I do that.
Ripley is frozen in place. Faith picks up her gear and walks away. Interior, Ripley's car, moments later. Ripley sits in her car, breathing heavily, trying to calm themselves. But it fails. They yell and hit the steering wheel, then bury their face in their hands. Interior, Denver International Airport gate, same time. Faith sits in the departure gate, staring at the string of apologetic texts from Jake, all unanswered. She opens his contact details and renames him Judas. She opens her music app and puts her headphones in. Faith is alone. Interior, Kelowna Airport baggage claim, day. Faith steps into baggage claim to find her parents waiting for her. She fakes a smile as they wrap her into a hug.
We're so proud of you.
They break the hug. Faith does her best to hide her pain.
Thanks.
I admit I let my fear get into the way of seeing what you were doing, but I've never seen you so happy as in the pictures from Saturday.
Faith fidgets, unable to look at her parents.
Which is not how you look now. What happened?
I don't want to talk about it.
Did Ripley do something? This is why I wanted you in separate rooms. Too many hormones, too many emotions.
Oh, Mom. Can we go home? I'm exhausted.
Okay.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith lies in bed staring at the ceiling. Her snowboard is in its case in the corner.
I'm sorry. Whenever you're ready to talk, I'll listen.
I know.
Interior, high school, day. Faith spots Jake coming down the hall and veers away. He jogs to catch her.
I'm not talking to you.
Fine, just listen. I convinced Kat to give you more time.
Faith glares at him.
To do the right thing and tell Canada to snowboard yourself.
Faith's glare could burn a hole through this man.
Are you going to say anything?
Faith shakes her head and walks away. Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith sits at her desk, staring at her homework. Her phone chimes.
I may have tomahawked in the end, but I don't regret going for it.
You didn't tomahawk, Jake did.
Ripley sends a gif of a snowboarder tomahawking, going end over end down a mountain. Faith sends a gif back of a snowboarder face planting into deep powder.
That looks fun.
Yeah, it does.
How was school? Did you kill Jake?
Faith FaceTimes Ripley.
You mean Judas? No. He kindly informed me that Kat would back off if I just outed myself to Canada Snowboard.
Generous of her.
Right? God, they're pissing me off. Everything was great, and she derailed it all.
Not necessarily. There's always another option. Don't give up on your dreams.
Seriously, Ripley, you missed your calling as a cheerleader. Maybe I'm not meant to live my dreams. I need to wake up to the real world where people like me don't get happy endings. We survive if we're lucky, nothing more.
Sorry. I guess that wasn't helpful. I'll chill with the cheerleading, but please.
In everything.
You might regret that.
Oh, and you won't?
If it keeps you talking to me, I'll do anything.
Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, night. Faith's parents talk inaudibly in the kitchen, though they stop when they see her. Faith turns away.
Faith, please talk to us. We're worried about you.
Faith hesitates.
Someone found out I'm trans.
Who? How?
That's the worst part. Jake told his bigoted girlfriend, and now I have to do the right thing, as Jake said, and tell Canada to snowboard myself, or Kat will do it for me.
That doesn't sound like Jake. Should I call his parents?
If you want.
Dad walks into the living room to call.
What do you want to eat?
I'm not hungry.
You know, nothing soothes a broken heart like ice cream.
He was my friend. We weren't dating.
The breakup of a friendship can be even more painful than the end of a romance. What do you want on your ice cream?
Give me the works.
As they make their ice cream sundaes, Dad can be heard on the phone.
Are you aware Jake and his girlfriend are threatening Faith's snowboarding career? I see. I thought you understood that the hormones make it harder.
Faith adds more whipped cream to her ice cream.
Your opinions don't change the fact that your son is ruining my daughter's life. And I guess we don't have anything further to discuss. Goodbye.
Dad walks into the room, sad and angry.
Come on, pull up a bowl.
Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, later. They're putting their bowls away.
I don't know what I'm going to do. The thought of doing what Kat says makes my skin crawl, but if I don't, she's going to make my life hell.
Let's find more options then. Want to make a pro-con list?
Dad grabs paper from the counter.
I wish Kat would just disappear.
Okay. Unfortunately, having people disappear is highly illegal and brings its own drama.
Jail is definitely a con.
Fine.
Dad quickly transcribes Faith's options as she talks.
Option 1, I quit competing. Don't tell Canada to snowboard and hope that appeases Kat.
And then what?
I don't know what I'm missing now. I don't think I can be happy staying here the rest of my life. Kill that option. Option 2, I
Dad
tell
crosses
Canada.
it off.
I tell Canada to snowboard and ask for privacy. If I'm banned from competing, Kat hopefully stays quiet and I disappear from competitive snowboarding.
And if they let you compete?
Kat will throw Finn at me anyway, so kill that one.
Dad frantically writes, but stops to cross it off, mildly flustered.
This is so annoying. If Kat outs me, it will look like I'm ashamed of being trans, which I'm not. I just want the chance to be viewed as any other girl and not just a trans girl.
They all pause.
These past weeks, you've thrown yourself into training. I can't remember when I've seen you so happy. Are you ready to really throw that all away?
No, but Kat won't let me.
Kat only has the power that you give her.
Are you, Mr. Cautious, telling me to out myself?
I'm asking you to take control of your life. Now, how you do that, that's up to you.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, moments later. Faith sits at her desk with a sheet of paper. At the top reads, "Come out as trans?" Below it are 2 columns for pros and cons. The pros column already says, "No more hiding." The cons column says, "Violence? Drama?" Faith looks at a picture of Ripley in the pink beanie that she printed and put on the wall. Then she adds, "Open doors for kids," in the pro column. Finally, she writes, "My terms," in the pros list. She pauses over the cons, then sets down her pen to pick up her phone to FaceTime Ripley.
I need my cheerleader.
Now? I can't rhyme on the spot.
I meant figuratively this time.
Thank God. What's up?
I'm coming out. The interview you did with Snowboarder Mag for Pride was really good. Do you think they'd be willing to help?
I'll call Shane.
Interior, Faith's house, living room, night. The doorbell rings. Faith opens the door to reveal Shane.
I can't believe you came all this way.
It didn't feel right to do this over the phone.
Faith steps back. Shane enters.
Would you like something to drink?
I'm fine, thanks. I don't want to disrupt your evening any longer than is necessary. Are you still game for an interview tonight?
I don't think I'll sleep until this is over. Let's do it.
Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, day. Faith and her parents are huddled around the laptop, the interview queued up to play. Faith takes a deep breath and pushes play. Sequence of shots, reactions to the interview. Faith is dressed in jeans and a Capita snowboard hoodie. Ripley sits in a beanbag chair, practically upside down, watching their phone.
When we met in Vail, I didn't expect to interview you days later, but your story needs to be heard.
As surreal as this is, I wish it wasn't happening.
Faith's mom takes her hand, and Faith squeezes it.
Let's start there. Why are we talking?
Because I'm transgender. I was assigned male at birth, but always knew I was a girl.
Pictures of Faith as a little girl. Pictures grow progressively older, many with snowboards.
I have amazing parents who allow me to live authentically, including snowboarding. It wasn't an issue until recently.
What changed?
Quick clips of Faith riding at the terrain park.
I began competing. For my own safety, I kept my transness private, but someone found out and threatened to out me. I decided to tell my story first.
Coach watches on his phone, visibly frustrated.
Would you like to say anything to her?
I don't think we need that on film.
Probably not. What about those who otherwise support you, but feel you have an advantage because you were born into a male body?
Jake watches outside the school, body slumped.
It isn't that simple. I used puberty blockers until I could begin female hormones, so I never gained that advantage. Most trans women didn't have that option, but hormones equalize the difference. For many trans women, it's actually harder to build muscle compared with cisgender women. That's why you don't see trans athletes dominating sports.
Picture of Faith near, but not on, the podium in Vail.
Sounds like this goes way beyond high school biology.
Yes, it does, which is why we should use science, not emotion, to create policy.
Kat rolls her eyes.
What would you like to see from the snowboarding community?
Let's embrace being outsiders again and lead the way in treating all athletes with dignity and respect. Everyone willing to strap in should have a place in the snow.
Zach nods.
How important is representation to you?
Sam watches on her computer at home, transfixed.
It's everything. I'm speaking up so trans folks and other members of the LGBTQ+ community know they belong on the mountain.
Dylan beams as he watches.
What about the skeptics who watch this and say you're just looking for publicity?
They don't know me or what it's like to be trans. The last thing I do is to open myself up to harassment and abuse. You're awesome, Shane, but if I had any other choice, I wouldn't be here.
Jess Summers watches, her expression skeptical. Return to the actual interview being filmed.
I understand and I appreciate your trust. Hopefully the next time we meet is on a mountain.
That would be great.
Exterior, Big White Resort Terrain Park day. Faith arrives at practice. Eli, 16, leers at Faith.
Hey, Faith. I dressed up as Lady Gaga for Halloween. Think you can hook me up with an interview?
Maybe if you were Lady Gaga?
But you aren't a real...
Dylan shoves Eli hard enough to knock him back. Jake and another kid step forward to intervene. Jake stands between Dylan and Eli.
Why? It's the truth, isn't it, Jake?
Faith turns to Jake. He scrambles for an answer.
Well, I mean, it's not that simple.
Faith glares at Jake. Dylan steps up to Jake.
Do I need to shut you up too?
Faith pulls Dylan back. Eli laughs, pissing Faith off. Faith moves towards Eli. Jake steps between them.
Whose side are you on?
Coach rushes over.
Enough. Boys, hit your runs. If a fist is thrown, you'll be off the team. Faith, hang back.
Eli leaves quickly. Jake and Dylan linger. Dylan glares at Jake until he leaves. Faith turns to the coach.
We have a problem.
I didn't do anything. It was all Eli.
That's not what I'm talking about. Canada Snowboard called me this morning. You're suspended while they determine your eligibility.
Already.
Your interview was everywhere, Faith. What did you expect?
Faith doesn't answer.
Until you're cleared, you're off the team.
What?
You can't compete. I have kids ready to fight. You're a disruption I can't afford.
Faith opens her mouth to argue, but stops. She controls her anger.
Don't worry. I won't be back.
Interior, Faith's car, later. Faith fumes in her car, stereo blasting. She texts Ripley.
I need to talk to you.
Faith opens Instagram to a flood of notifications. We don't see the comments, just Faith's expression growing more angry and more hurt until she reaches her limits and yells at her phone.
Why won't anyone listen?
Faith shoves her door open and grabs her board. Exterior, Big White Mountain, advanced trail, moments later. Faith flies down the mountain, barely in control, jaw clenched tight. Negative comments fill Faith's mind.
I support trans people, but this is going too far.
You can't change biology. He should be ashamed of himself.
Faith is a threat to real women.
Nothing but a cheater.
It doesn't feel fair for trans athletes to compete.
Faith should ride with the boys where they belong.
Faith catches an edge and crashes. She gets up and throws her board toward the trees with a scream. Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, later. Faith lies on her bed, staring at the ceiling. Ripley finally calls.
Hey, what's going on?
Got suspended from competition and kicked off the team, read comments online like an idiot, pondering what's next.
Seriously? That's shit. What do you want to do?
Punch something?
Don't break your hand. It'll throw off your riding.
Does it matter? My season is canceled.
They don't control everything. Do the Park City Rail Jam with me. I'll clear it with the organizers.
Why?
To show the haters they can't win.
A smile crosses Faith's face.
Yeah. Screw them. I'm in.
Interior, Faith's house, kitchen, day. Phones ring as Faith and her parents silence each one.
How did they get our numbers?
Faith rushes to the wall and unplugs the landline.
Faith, how do we lock down our phones to only known contacts?
I'll look it up. Put them on airplane mode for now.
The phones fall silent. Faith walks out of the room. Her parents look between each other, concern etched on their faces. Faith returns with her laptop and sits at the table, talking as she types.
I want to do a contest with Ripley in Utah.
When they don't reply, Faith looks up to find uncertain gazes.
I'll pay you back, but if I don't ride, it looks like I'm hiding.
Maybe you should wait.
I have to take my power back. I can't stop now.
Interior, Snowboard Canada office, day. This office looks like any corporate office, despite the snowboarding pictures decorating the walls. Faith and her parents sit at a conference table. Faith has her hair down and wears a dress to accentuate her femininity. Her posture and clothing is a mark of her defensiveness. They're joined by 4 board members, Steph Nichols, Dave Kinney, Mike Marchand, and Taylor Wilkins.
Why did you decide to compete without discussing your eligibility first?
I joined a team mid-season. If I'd asked, can you honestly say you'd have approved me in time to compete?
What makes you think we'd have approved you?
I've lived as my authentic self since I was 6. I never went through male puberty. I have no advantage over any other girl. What valid reason do you have to deny me?
Steph doesn't answer.
The International Olympic Committee allows transgender athletes to compete with historic proof of low testosterone. Can you provide that for us?
Sure. I can share my personal medical records with complete strangers with no medical training.
Faith's mom reaches for her husband's hand, jaw set in worry.
Those records would go to medical professionals, not us.
If that's what it takes, then yes. How long until you make a decision? There's a competition at Whistler next month.
I'll do my best to get you an answer before Whistler.
What about a full policy?
We're researching all sides.
Does that include the people who think my access to hormones is child abuse? That I'm too young to know any better, or I'm delusional?
We can't be seen as taking sides, especially during our fact-finding stage.
Why not? There is absolutely a wrong side in this issue.
I agree. I have trans fins watching how we handle this. We need to be careful.
Is there anything else you'd like to share, Faith?
No.
Then we'll be in touch.
Faith nods and practically leaps out of her chair to leave the room. Interior, exterior, Park City, Utah, night. Faith gazes out at the airport shuttle window. It pulls up to the hotel where Faith spots Ripley waiting impatiently. She smiles fully for the first time since the Colorado trip. Faith is up and moving to the front of the shuttle before it even fully stops. As the door opens, Faith jumps out of the shuttle. Ripley spots her and runs over. Their hug shows the stress they've both been under and the comfort that they find in each other. Interior, Park City hotel room, night. Bags and winter clothes are strewn across the room. Faith and Ripley sit cross-legged on the bed, a box of pizza between them. Faith finishes a piece and wipes her hand on a napkin.
Who knew sitting in a hotel room eating pizza would feel so good?
Really? Just the pizza in the hotel?
The company isn't bad, but the pizza is exceptional.
Well, if that's how you feel.
Ripley grabs the pizza box and jumps to the other bed.
No, not the pizza.
Faith jumps to the other bed as well, eyes focused on the pizza. Ripley moves the box behind them. Faith leaps forward, but her attention is no longer on the pizza.
I could be convinced to share.
Oh, you could, huh?
Faith gazes into Ripley's hopeful eyes, a soft smile on her lips. She leans in and kisses Ripley, long and slow. Ripley pulls her closer. Faith loses her balance and they both fall to the bed, landing on the pizza box as they dissolve into laughter.
Okay. The company is better than the pizza. The company is better than all right.
Because I taste like pizza?
Oh, you're such a dork.
Faith kisses them again. Exterior, Park City Terrain Park, day. Faith and Ripley walk around the terrain park before the event. They pass by a small group of guys. Braden, 16, can't resist saying something.
Ripley's gone full gay and got himself a boyfriend.
Ripley drops their board and rushes toward him. Faith grabs their arm but only slows Ripley. Ripley stops a foot away, hands bunched into fists.
You don't get to talk about her like that.
Braden gets in Ripley's face.
What are you going to do? Hit me? Go for it.
Ripley, don't. You get kicked out.
Ripley doesn't move.
You'll get both of us kicked out because no way am I letting you get hurt from me.
Faith pulls again, and this time Ripley steps back.
Get away from her.
Ripley glares at him, but lets Faith lead them away. In the distance, Ripley's friend Emma, 24, calls for them. Emma is a bright ray of sunshine combined with a tiny Labrador puppy.
Ripley, over here.
Emma, thank God.
They turn toward the voice. Emma meets them halfway and hugs.
Were you about to kill Brayden?
Still might. Transphobic, sexist asshole.
He's the worst. Stick with me. I'll be your guard dog.
Exterior, Park City Terrain Park, later. This contest is even less formal than the previous ones. Faith and Ripley watch the contest with Emma and a few other girls while awaiting their turns. A series of shots. Ripley is tense, which we've never seen from them. They attempt a 360 onto the first rail and over-rotate, falling off the rail. Brayden laughs and yells, "Nice one." Ripley hits the next rail with their board, losing their balance. They shake their head. Concern is etched on Faith's face at Ripley's struggle. Faith hits the rails with the safe tricks. She's not concerned with impressing anyone this time. Faith rides straight over to Ripley. End series of shots.
Do you want to go back to the hotel?
We shouldn't. What message does that send?
That you matter more to me than assholes like Brayden?
I can rally. He's gonna think he won if we leave.
And if you get hurt because your head isn't in it?
Ripley shrugs.
God, Ripley, I feel bad enough that you're getting harassed because of me. If you get hurt?
Faith looks away.
Let's get our stuff.
Exterior, Park City Terrain Park, moments later. Faith and Ripley stand with Emma.
We're taking off. Head's not in it.
I don't blame you. Text me if you want to meet up.
They exchange hugs. There's a scream and everyone turns to find Brayden on the ground grabbing his knee. Faith and Ripley exchange a look as Brayden continues making noises of pain.
That shouldn't make me feel better.
But it totally does.
Interior, Park City hotel room, day. Faith and Ripley are back on the bed. This time, they're eating sushi.
Maybe I shouldn't ask, but I need to know, what do you get out of this relationship?
Besides pizza kisses, I'm hoping sushi kisses.
Besides that, when I leave tomorrow, what balances out all the bullshit?
Ripley drops the sarcasm.
From day one, you accepted me, bad jokes and all. Somehow, you get me. Is there a lot of drama right now? Yeah, but you're worth it.
Faith's whole body relaxes.
You know what's funny? I totally had a crush on you from Instagram. But Instagram Ripley is such a small part of who you are.
You had a crush?
Who wouldn't? You were cute and cool.
Were?
You aren't cool.
They share a laugh.
When all this went down, I expected the negativity, even the death threats. The flip side's weirder. People like me just because I'm trans. I'd rather they like me for being a good writer.
Yeah. People think they know who you are, but they don't. You're a symbol for who they want to be, who they're afraid to be, who they love, who they hate. It's a trip.
I feel like I should apologize to every stranger I follow online.
Dramatic pause.
Ripley, I apologize for objectifying you instead of seeing you as a human being.
Thanks, but I totally give you permission to objectify me.
Faith looks Ripley over.
Gladly.
Interior, Salt Lake City Airport, day. Faith waits at her gate, checking emails on her phone. Her face falls as she reads. She calls Ripley, but their phone goes straight to voicemail.
Looks like Whistler's a long shot. I got an email for Taylor at Canada Snowboard. Steph is being stubborn.
Faith's emotions begin to take over. Faith takes a moment before continuing.
When do I get to live without other people interfering?
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, day. Faith is in her room, feeling low following the weekend's events. The phone rings.
Hello?
Interior, Snowboarder magazine office, same time. Shane sits at her desk.
How are you doing, Faith?
Intercut phone conversation.
Been better. Just got back from Park City and I'm not sure I fit anywhere in the snowboarding world.
You've barely dipped your toe in. Snowboarding is the ultimate choose your own adventure life. What you need is an opportunity, which I'm about to offer you.
What's that?
MS Super Park in Whistler.
Faith is shocked.
But I'm nobody.
Even if that were true, MS Super Park has always brought in newer riders who would benefit from the mentorship of experienced female riders. 4 days of riding and community, no contests, no rules.
I'm so in.
I'll email you the details now.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
Faith hangs up and immediately FaceTimes Ripley.
I'm going to MS Super Park.
I'm going to MS Super Park too. Shane called me right before you.
Holy crap, we're going to MS Super Park.
Interior, Big White Resort Cafe, day. Faith is smiling, feeling good outside the cafe when she spots Steph from Snowboard Canada. She considers her options for a moment. Faith finds her courage, squares her shoulders, and begins walking to Steph's table.
Steph, can I talk to you for a sec?
Steph looks uneasy.
I won't make a scene, just 1 minute.
Okay.
Faith sits in the open chair.
You may have reservations, but allowing me to compete isn't about me. I'll be fine. But there are countless kids watching and waiting to see if Snowboard Canada sees them, respects them, supports them. A detailed policy can come in time, but they need to see a sign of hope.
You're their hope?
Whether I want to be or not, all I wanted was to be treated like any other female snowboarder. That wasn't possible, but you're in the unique position to give that to another kid. You could literally save lives. I bet snowboarding has given you a lot. Show these kids they can have the same.
Interior, Faith's house, bedroom, night. Faith checks her email to find the subject line, eligibility decision. Faith opens it, skims, then calls Ripley.
Canada Snowboard made their decision.
Interior, Ripley's house, bedroom, same time. Ripley paces the room.
What did they say?
Intercut phone conversation.
I'm eligible to compete again.
That's great.
Yeah. Except I don't know if it's what I want anymore. Vail was awesome and I can barely sleep. I'm so excited about MS Super Park, but it feels like an obligation.
I can see that. What about Kat?
That is my only motivation right now. I'm so going to meet her.
Interior, high school, day. Faith spots Jake, but this time does not avoid him.
How's your girlfriend handling the news that she lost?
I wouldn't know. I broke up with her. I'm sorry it wasn't in time.
You turned my life upside down, Jake. It wasn't just Kat, it was Eli too. Do you really think you can say sorry and it'll be okay?
No. How do I make it up to you?
I don't know. Prove that you won't screw me over again and we'll talk.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Faith doesn't leave. Jake takes it as a good sign.
So, are you and Ripley a thing yet?
Faith's expression softens.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you got something good out of this.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, day. A new terrain park was built just for the MS Super Park photo shoot. Dozens of women, along with photographers, videographers, and their support staff, are dispersed in the park. The overview shows a quarter pipe, jumps, and very unique features. Faith and Ripley stand away from the others, watching the first rider start a session on the rails. Emma runs up and almost tackles them.
Is this an antisocial couples thing?
They're avoiding us, and I don't want to push.
Jump into the session with me. Let them see what you got.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, moments later. Emma, Faith, and Ripley fly through the section. Faith throws a big trick off the first feature, lands to cheers from the observers. Faith beams. Then she spots Jess Summers standing with arms crossed, as if she's sizing Faith up. Faith second guesses herself and slows, trying to make herself less strong in front of Jess. She hits the second feature, far too hesitant, and lands on her back, knocking the wind out of her. Faith doesn't move. Ripley rushes to her side.
Faith, are you okay? Did you knock yourself out?
Faith slowly shakes her head.
I'm okay. Just need air.
You sure?
Faith sits up slowly.
Yeah, help me up.
Ripley gives Faith a hand.
We're carrying enough momentum for that trick.
No, just got in my head. If I go big, will that add fuel to your argument that I don't belong here?
Doesn't matter. No one's worth hurting yourself for. Didn't you tell me something like that?
Oh, this being the bigger person thing is hard.
Interior, pizza place, night. Faith, Ripley, Emma, and a handful of other women sit around a large table, slamming pizzas and drinks. They're raucous, reliving the day's highlights.
That hip was a blast once I figured it out. It's massive.
Natalie, 16, jumps in.
Did you try the tree box? I landed on my face the first time, but nailed it after.
Ouch. Any tips to avoid smashing my face?
Totally. Find me tomorrow.
Summer, 21, turns to Faith.
You have to hit the quarter pipe, too. I spent half the day working on my hand plants.
Faith is in awe at how many women are including her. Ripley nudges Faith and gives a knowing smile.
I don't have a good hand plant. Count me in.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, day. Faith and Ripley pull up to the terrain park to see Jess is already there.
What do you think?
Let's check the tree box instead.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, later. Faith and Ripley are smiling while they watch people hit the tree box. Shane walks up to Faith.
I've been interviewing first-timers. You two have a minute?
Sure.
A camera person focuses on the three of them. It's a very casual interview.
This is your first time at MS Super Park. What do you think?
Highlight of my year.
Hey!
Faith kisses Ripley on the cheek.
Highlight of my snowboarding year. Everyone here is so passionate about snowboarding. I wish it could last forever.
God, yes. I'm not sure I'll hit everything in just 4 days.
What about the people?
They're great. I've never felt more accepted in a group of people as I did at dinner last night.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, day. Faith and Ripley try the quarter pipe again. Jess spots them and looks back to the quarter pipe. Faith scowls.
Stay or go.
I'm sick of hiding.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, moments later. Jess makes an effort to avoid looking at Faith and Ripley, who are now feet away.
Hey, Jess.
Jess turns, cautious. Other riders stand nearby, watching in varying degrees of blatantness.
Hey, Ripley, Faith, you okay after your fall?
Do you actually care, or are you just asking because you don't want to look like a dick?
Jess and Ripley look at Faith in shock.
I don't want to see you or anyone else get hurt.
Yet you made it clear I didn't belong in women's snowboarding without talking to me, without trying to understand me. That hurt a lot more than knocking the wind out of myself, or does that not bother you?
Ripley rests their hand on Faith's lower back in support. Jess looks at the ground, gathering herself.
I wasn't thinking about you specifically, but the situation in general.
But this general situation is about me, a real person with real feelings, torn apart by the words of her hero.
Faith closes her eyes to gather herself. Ripley wraps an arm around her, and Jess does not speak.
And now I'm here with the best women of snowboarding where I belong. No caveats. I don't need you to be my friend, but if you could see me as a human being, that would be great.
Faith turns away, Ripley looks at Jess, a silent challenge. Everyone nearby stares on. Faith reaches for Ripley's hand and starts walking.
Faith,
Faith turns.
I'm sorry I was a dick. I still don't understand all this, but I should have talked to you.
Faith nods, but does not let her guard down.
I was just teaching the girls a hand plant. Want to join us?
Faith takes a breath, and she steps toward Jess. Interior, Whistler Hotel Room, night. Faith and Ripley talk while relaxing in bed. They are in sleep clothes on top of the covers, with the TV muted in the background.
I know what I want from snowboarding now. To ride with more women and queer folks, not compete.
Hard to do based in Kelowna.
I know, but I did the math. It's going to take a miracle for me to afford to move to Colorado.
Ripley gets a teasing grin on their face.
Did you make a sick spreadsheet?
The sickest.
Still owe me one.
Faith gets flirty and brushes her hand over Ripley's stomach.
Is that really what you want to discuss tonight? Is that what you really want to do tonight? Discuss spreadsheets?
Ripley sucks in a breath, but doesn't move things forward.
Is something wrong? I'm starting to think you're holding back.
Believe me, I'd rather jump in with both feet. I don't want to screw this up by moving too fast. It would wreck me to lose you.
You won't.
We live in separate countries. You just said it would take a miracle for you to move. How does this work?
There's a heavy silence.
Can we just be here now and pretend we already have those answers?
Are you sure? That approach blew up last time.
No, it didn't. Our timing sucked, that's all.
Okay, then we could pretend this is our 3rd or 5th or even 10th MS Super Park together.
I like that. So now what do you want to do?
Ripley grins mischievously and closes the gap between them. Faith grabs the back of Ripley's head and kisses them. Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park day. Faith and Ripley arrive for the competition. The first thing Faith sees is a small group of protesters holding signs condemning Faith's participation. Faith tries not to react, but her face falls.
It's like you need a cheerleader.
Ripley pulls her to the side and strikes a cheerleading pose. Faith looks at them like they've lost their mind.
Look out, Cat, it's time to go. Faith's so hot, she melts the snow. Let's go, Faith!
Faith tries very hard not to laugh.
I need snow to ride.
Faith's so cool, she'll freeze the snow.
That was already frozen.
Ripley steps close.
I spent hours researching your very own cheer and you're gonna argue semantics?
Faith wraps her arms around Ripley and kisses them on the lips.
Thank you for cheering me up. Pun intended.
Yes, I finally corrupted you.
They turn away from the protesters and walk. Dylan runs up and gives Faith a hug. Faith laughs as Dylan introduces himself.
I'm Dylan, Faith's future gay best friend, and you need one of these.
He slaps a sticker in Ripley's hand that says, "Have faith," in the trans pride flag colors, pink, white, and blue. Ripley and Faith look it over.
You made these? That definitely moves you closer to gay best friend status.
Actually, Jake and I worked on it together.
Really?
Faith looks around and finally notices there are stickers everywhere. On helmets, on coats. Not everyone wears them, but there are far more stickers than there are protesters. Jake comes up behind them.
Dylan, why aren't you... hi.
Ripley wraps an arm around Faith, their posture protective.
You did this?
It's not much, but I thought it would distract you from Kat's crew and show them that we don't agree.
This is amazing. Thank you.
So, you forgive me?
Ripley glares. Faith turns to them.
It's okay. I've got this.
Faith turns back to Jake.
It's a start.
But I need time. Maybe we can start slow and all ride together one day.
The tension eases. Ripley relaxes their stance.
You mean I have to share my gay best friend?
I was replaced by Dylan. How the tables have turned.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, competitor area later. Faith, Ripley, Emma, Jess, and others from MS Superpark stand at the edge of the competitor area, all wearing Have Faith stickers. Faith spots Kat closer to the starting gate. Kat rolls her eyes, but her posture is uncertain.
Ready to shut her down?
More than ready.
We'll be cheering our asses off. Don't hold back.
I've got this. Nothing's going to stop me today.
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park later. The staging area is cleared out, leaving the 6 finalists, including Faith and Kat. Faith looks out on the course, moving her body to match the plan she sees in her mind. Kat can't help but attempt to get into her head.
You wouldn't be here if the judges scored you fairly.
Faith doesn't take her eyes off the course.
I'm starting to think you don't know what fair means.
Do you really think they all support you? This is all a show to prove they're woke.
Some of them, sure. But I've got my crew.
Faith looks back to where Ripley, Emma, Jess, and Faith's parents stand. Ripley gives Faith a questioning thumbs up. Faith smiles and nods.
Who do you have, Kat?
Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, starting gate later. Faith stands at the starting gate, goggles down. Faith looks out over the crowd, the stickers creating a waving sea of support. Finally, she lingers on Ripley, who is focused entirely on her. Faith returns her focus to the course. She takes a deep breath and takes off. She hits the rail with an impressive 360 on, sliding to the end and jumping off with another 360. The crowd cheers. At the next feature, Faith throws in the handstand she learned at MS Superpark.
Nice one.
Faith heads for the final jump, completely calm. She launches and throws the backside rodeo 540 that Ripley had taught her and lands it perfectly. Ripley leaps into the air in celebration as the crowd roars. Faith celebrates before coming to a stop. She put together the ride of her year and doesn't need to see the scores to know. She beat Kat. Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, day. A podium sits at the end of the course. 2 young women standing on the 2nd and 3rd place position. The announcer continues sharing the results.
And our first place finisher, who threw that beautiful backside rodeo 540, is Faith Carter.
Faith leaps onto the top of the podium, unable to stop smiling. The announcer hands her the medal and checks for hands her the medal and a check for $1,000. Kat is not in the picture. Exterior, Whistler Terrain Park, later. Ripley practically tackles Faith in a bone-crushing hug.
That was amazing! In the back rodeo, yes!
I saw the whole run come together and I knew it would work. God, that felt good.
They break apart and turn to find Shane.
Now that's the way to make a statement. Can you spare a minute for an interview later?
Why not now?
Because you have a few people waiting to talk to you.
Shane turns to point to 3 people chatting with each other.
The woman on the right is with Capita Snowboards. The woman in the middle is with Nikita Clothing, and the man is with Red Bull. You should talk to them first.
Faith's eyes grow large.
Make sure she gets there without passing out.
Faith rolls her eyes at Ripley.
I'll catch you before I leave.
Thanks.
Faith and Ripley walk toward the sponsors. Aria, 10, intercepts Faith with a marker and sticker.
Will you sign this?
Faith kneels down to get to eye level and takes the marker and the sticker.
What's your name?
Aria.
That's a beautiful name.
Thanks. I picked it last year.
Faith smiles, knowing exactly what Aria means.
My parents wanted to name me Faith when I was born, so that's what I picked. Do you snowboard?
Not yet, but I want to.
Faith turns the sticker over and writes her email down.
Tell your parents to email me and we'll find a time for a lesson.
Really? Thank you.
Faith opens her arms and Aria gives her a huge hug. Aria runs to her parents standing nearby. She exchanges a look with the grateful parents and only then looks to the sponsors. Exterior, Big White Resort Terrain Park, 9 months later. Insert Rainbow Riders snowboarding camp sign. Faith, Ripley, and Dylan form a small circle with an excited red-cheeked group of kids, including Sam and Aria.
What's the most important thing to remember when snowboarding?
Have fun.
That's right. Keep us updated on the new tricks you learned this season. Now who's ready for some goodies?
The kids raise their hands. Jake brings an armload of backpacks with the Rainbow Riders on the back.
Do you think I'm good enough to join the snowboarding team?
Wrong question. Would you have fun?
I think so.
And that's your answer. Work hard, have fun, and you're going to be better than me.
Aria gives Faith a hug. Faith watches, and Aria joins the other kids to look through their swag. Ripley wraps an arm around Faith.
I feel like a proud parent.
Right? Our little rainbow family.
Ripley laughs, and Faith looks at them.
What's funny?
We created the Rainbow Riders in 9 months.
Faith joins in their laughter. Ripley turns to face Faith.
We get to do it again when we get home.
Ripley turns to face Faith.
You didn't want anyone to see you a year ago. Now you're giving interviews and training the next generation of queer riders.
This year was hard, but I couldn't have done it without you. We make a good team.
They kiss. Wolf whistle off screen.
Picture time.
Insert picture of Faith, Ripley, Dylan, Jake, and all the kids with their boards and Rainbow Riders swag. Caption says, Rainbow Riders inaugural class. The end.
Thank you very much, everyone. I was going to say give everybody a round of applause, but everybody beat me to that. So we will continue on. Now, if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to. If you have something else that you want to do, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to Tony and Jeffrey now, okay? So we'll let them have their say, and then if we have time, we can jump in with our thoughts if we have any. Sound good? All right, Tony, Jeffrey, take it away.
Go first, Jeffrey.
Come on, Tony.
Okay, you want me to go first? I'll go first.
I have a feeling you and I are going to have a
I'll go
lot of.
first. I know. We do seem to have the same notes. Okay, I'll go first. If you. Well, first I'll say is it's great. I mean, it's really come together. I mean, just watching it come together over the past 6 months, it's fantastic. It's fun. The dialogue it's engaging. It has all the elements of the 3-act structure. You know, the hero's journey. I think there's I've got some notes about a couple places to do better, but it's a story. It's a great story. It's well told, and I would say that the strengths for me are that it's fun, and you have complete command of the issue, which really comes across in the script. And I think especially for this script, that's so important, obviously. And also, I think it's compelling. Like it kept drawing me in, kept making me want to hear more. How is this going to turn out? I have a few places where I think I would say I'll let Jeffrey speak before I get into like my more specific notes. But I'd say that's my overall picture. probably my largest note, and it's a little bit hard to give notes when you're still kind of digesting it, is that there seemed to be, like, after the big climax of the story, which for me was the letter she gets allowing her to compete. That for me was like the big climactic moment. She gets to compete. She gets to go to MS Super Park. And then there felt like there was 5 or 6 denouements, like wrap-up scenes that just kept going and going and going. And I think it went too long after that. I think there's a way to condense the ending, because I felt like there was 3 things that you kind of needed to wrap up at the end. You needed to wrap up the Faith Ripley relationship. You needed to wrap up the conflict with Kat, or the naysayers, if you will, because there are other people who are actually representing that view. And we needed to see her compete. Like, that was, for me, that was the 3 things I wanted to see. And then there was a couple scenes I felt like they were rambling in there. And then my other big note would be still about the opening. I'm gonna sound like a broken record.
No, not.
The opening still for me doesn't state a clear theme or purpose for your main character. I understand the journey, like we're in her normal world, a kid gets hurt, she gets invited onto the team. She refuses the call, and then eventually she meets Ripley and accepts the call. That all is clear, but I'm still waiting in the opening scene for the internal journey to be made clear. And that is, I think I said this before, but it's like, it's that moment when someone says, it's tough to be the first, and she doesn't want to be the first, but then she realizes being the first means being the first for everybody. Because now I understand, having read heard the whole script, that that's your theme. That there's more than just the personal theme of going first. There's the personal theme of going first for everyone. And so I had a thought is, like how we're always talking about, the better you can put thing in a metaphor, so it's indirect, might be better. One great thing about snowboarding, or not snowboarding, I don't know, if there's an example where, I've snowboarded 15 years ago, was the only time I ever snowboarded, but I snowboarded for 3 straight days in the largest amount of snow ever in Utah. And the amazing thing about it was going out on the mountain and being the first person down slopes, on certain slopes, when there's just like so much snow. And it just occurred to me that there's like this metaphor there about being the first has risk, but it also has advantages. And when you go down, then other people can see the track to go down and they know where to go. And I think if you could state that in a subtle way at the beginning, make that analogy at the top of the mountain, and get across the point that Faith is afraid to be the first person to go down. But what she's not seeing, and what comes out, this is where your movie ends up, is that being the first down means she's paving a path for other people to go down. So it's not just about her. And that has benefits to her too. So those are my big notes.
That's great. As always, or as frequently, I would second a lot of what Tony says. Also, just a shout out to Zelda and Erin and all the actors. Really, it's hard to, without the ability to overlap dialogue. Zoom is a terrible way to try and do a table read, but having done a lot of table reads for network pilots and things where there's someone like in the background looking at you on a video camera and ready to fire you with whatever, it's like it's an interesting experience, but it also shows you, it's kind of puts it under a microscope and sees what works and what doesn't work. And I take less about what doesn't work, but more about what does work. Because if it can work in a Zoom format, then clearly something's working well. Because it's only going to get better when you give actors the freedom to kind of, overlap and be free, and get their timing more naturalistically. I thought, to me, the biggest revelation was how well you captured Ripley's voice. That is the character really pops in a good way. They are fun, pushy, playful, and that really comes out even on this Zoom environment. And obviously Zelda did a good job with it, but some of it's just what's on the page. It really works. In fact, what I noticed was in the last third, Ripley actually disappears too much because and again, you only know that it's not from the pages. I'm not hearing, their voice. So, I'm missing it a little bit structurally. And I agree. I think what Tony and I think the other mentors have talked to you about before with the intros, which has a lot to do with what you're trying to, it's often hard with your protagonist to make them stand out as much as the second character or the villain or someone like that, because they can have a really distinct, kind of point of view. So Faith is a little bit softer, and particularly in the beginning, I think there's not enough yet and whether it's a version of what Tony's talking about and making first tracks as a metaphor, or just, I think we're all what would be great is to find a way to more concretely define that character's desire earlier in the story, and I think you have to open your mind, even, and I have a few small notes, but that they're not really important, but even that first scene where they're interacting with the kids, that scene's about Ripley and Faith. So I would clear out more stuff. Again, you don't need multiple kids and multiple hats. It's really about one kid, and that kid serving as a proxy for essentially how do we deal with people who are tolerant or intolerant of gender difference. And your one character has a strong impact, which is Ripley, and obviously Faith you've given the role of being kind of like avoiding conflict. But avoiding conflict is a tougher thing for an actor or for an audience to sink into on a character, because it's a passive MO. Now, I know you want to start there because that person needs to become more of a strong activist, but there may be other ways to think about how you do that, how you see avoidance. Sometimes it's even by doing things that might be almost against the cause, if you will, because they have such a far, like if the journey seems too easy, make the beginning point even further. I thought that, pace-wise, I have one exercise for you, a writing exercise, Jax, which you can take up if you like. Whether it goes in the script, I don't know. But the scene where, because I didn't have a piece of paper, but you and I, we've read the script together. Where Faith takes Ripley to the quiet place. You know that scene? Yeah. I like the idea of it, but it's essentially all the subtext of the entire movie in the text. They basically state their positions. Faith states exactly how she feels, or they feel, like she uses the she pronouns, that she feels about being trans and not wanting to be first. And if there was a way, so the exercise I was going to ask you to try, I don't know whether it ends up in the movie or not, is try and write a version of that scene where they're not allowed to talk about gender. Make the whole thing subtext. And there's a way to do that. They could use it. And it may be too goofy. It may not work, but it will force you to kind of push that as a writer to try and see, how do I make this work as a scene? There's a version where I'm thinking of like those mobster scenes where it's like, so are you going to get the cannoli or not the cannoli? It's like, whatever. They're talking about killing somebody, but they were always done. Certainly we've seen those well done in Sopranos and other mobster movies, where they do a great job exploring something that's important to the characters, but not being allowed to say it directly. So that's just an idea. I thought that overall, this is a note we've given you before, we're going to keep giving you about that last act and the endings. I think that the good news is you have a lot of great material to work with. I found the scene where Faith is giving the interview. It's really emotional. It's powerful. It's great. The problem is it's too good and it's too early. It feels like that's one of the final scenes, and in many ways I noticed listening to the dialogue, there's a moment where Faith says, I'm tired of hiding. I want to come out. I can't remember what the line is, but it's like 20 pages after she's already come out. She's already given the interview. So you're telling us, you know what I mean? Like, you need to line up your kind of strongest scenes structurally with the places where they're going to land the hardest. It's like having a big, if it's a boxing movie, like the biggest boxing match happens and then there's 30 more pages. It almost always in a sports movie has to build to that. And you're, in a weird way, if this is a sports movie, the real sport here is taking ownership of her identity, her trans identity. That's what she's struggling with. Not winning or losing at snowboarding. I mean, that's obviously mixed in, but that's the struggle. And the fact that she kind of wins that struggle in interview with, I can't remember the name of your magazine in it, on page, let's call it, I don't know, like 90, and you're going to page 110, means you've had your big fight too early.
Can I say something there?
Yeah, jump in.
So, because I had the exact same thought, is that the first interview, there was too much with the TV interview that you really wanted to be in the conversation with Steph. And I think the way to set that up is to do the TV interview where she won't say the things she has to say, she needs to say. And then when she gets to the interview with Steph, it all finally comes out. And that's what persuades Steph to vote the way she does. So I had the exact same.
Yeah. And I think that, structurally, there's also other ways to do that. So for example, when she's about to be outed by Kat and she's forced to do something, the other way you could do that is the thing she does as the intermediary step is to go see the Canada Board of Review. That's behind closed doors to reveal, to basically to say, I'm trans and I want to compete, but not to have gone to the next step, which is to give the public interview. I have another big idea for you. It actually sounds like a bigger idea than it is, I think, but I'm going to throw it out for you just to mull on, and we can talk about it next month or whenever we meet again. I felt that the pace was flagging a little bit in the area when she first goes to Colorado, and we're kind of waiting. Kat hasn't challenged her yet. She's gone to compete in Vail, but even per your scene description, which was well read by our friend who's gone, it says the atmosphere is more relaxed than Canada. So you've basically gone from a highly competitive and from a storytelling point of view, dramatic scene where she has an antagonist represented by Kat. She has her best friend who's abandoning her. There's a lot of drama happening in the first, and it's her first competition. That's up here, Jax. And then what's happening is you take us to a second competition where there's no on-screen antagonist for her. The stakes are lower because she's already lost. What can go wrong? And there's very little, there's lower drama. So I was wondering whether maybe what could happen in that midpoint there would be, you could have Ripley sustain an injury that blows her out for the season. And then what you're already doing is Ripley, that could really throw Faith off. She might not want to continue competing. And you already are basically turning Ripley in what first is this, they're both competitors, but then she kind of becomes her Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? So you could let that just fully happen through your intervention, would give you a little more drama. And you could still have Ripley, it doesn't have to be the end of their career, but it could be, doesn't matter. But they could, just whatever, I've torn my ACL skiing, I know what it's like, you're done. If that happens, then what you have two things that you could work with there. One, it injects a little more drama where it seems to be flagging a little bit. Then, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi help of Ripley, which you already have written basically, the pressure is on Faith to deliver not for herself, but for Ripley. And when she wins 4th place, it's a win for them as a team, right? As opposed to the 2 them up there. And then on top of that, your next kick in the teeth is Kat outs her to, is basically going to out her. So now you have a moment where she's saying, what you already kind of have, saying, I don't want to do this anymore. And Ripley, as her Obi-Wan Kenobi, is essentially saying, do it for me. I can't compete anymore. You must carry the torch for me. So it would amp up your stakes a bit. And then Faith's continual progress is no longer a competition with Ripley. It actually makes their relationship a little bit more, I think it might help a couple of things. Anyway, think about it, because it's a change. And if you wanted to, it also gives you a final nice moment if they one day are skiing together or snowboarding together when she's better, Right. The other thing I noticed was I felt like, and this is a smaller note, but I'm just going to throw it out because it's in my notes here that I took down. When after the problem happens with Kat and she's at a low point, the character has this long scene where she eats ice cream. Her dad calls Jake's dad. I wonder whether you want to get rid of all that, because it kind of deflates the pressure on her. In some ways, if Faith were alone and we just saw the result of what she decided, which, as Tony said, maybe it's not giving that full video interview, but if you see her struggling, you see her, I don't know what she does. She goes and kicks the dog. She whatever she's doing to show that
Jeffrey, don't kick the dog.
I kick my dog when I'm
right.
script. I just kicked the dog. That's what you got to do. You want the character to be in a low point, as traditionally as Tony said, like structurally, that's got to be a really down point. Having dad say, "I'm going to call your friend's parent, Mom, I'm going to make you nice." Almost, it's making me feel like, oh, it's not so bad. She's got these nice parents helping her out. So I think making her more alone, even if that happened, it's like just not showing us that might make it better when you see the other side of it, which is all alone. She's got to walk down a long hallway, knock on the door, and sit in front of these grown-ups in suits and say, "Hey, I'm trans, I want to compete." And the board is kind of giving her a bit of this, and then eventually she's going to win them over. But it's like the first step of saying, I'm not going to be blackmailed. I'm gonna out myself first, Anyway, think about that. It might help move that thing forward. And ultimately the big note, I think, because this is like, there's so much that's working well in the screenplay. I think it's in a good way. It's the beginning and end. You want to look at a little bit like a little stronger decision about how you want to intro Faith. And I think compressing your ending, I don't know if it's possible, but I would love to see you try and do a version where you cross-cut, let's say, the final competition and her interview. That's how you really ring the audience into being, she's winning and she's winning, and she's going to beat this Kat represents the transphobic world that she's up against, and she's going to win physically by beating her on the slopes, but she's also going to win for us emotionally because she's got this very, which you've already written a really strong version of her kind of like emotional plea to the world to say, hey, this is how I am. I'm different, but I don't want to be ashamed of it. I'm finally owning it. Took me this, all this pressure to get here. And I think that will help. And if you do that, I think what you'll find is how many pages you got now, Jax?
106.
Right. You this might come down to 90, 95.
Right.
Which is fine for a movie of this. I think for selling purposes, which is really what we want to get you to next. You want it to be a breezy, quick read. You can always add more to it. I very rarely have heard an executive say, "I wish this script had been longer that you sent me."
Right.
So I think if you tighten up that ending, it's going to also help us the marketability and the saleability of the material, which I think is legitimate on this one. There's a version of this I see getting made, which is, that's what you want. You want to have a script that you feel like someone could say, yeah, this could get made.
Can I?
Great work, and I think those are all my big notes. Tony, I'll throw it back.
Sure. Easy. I'll have it done by the next meeting.
Get it done, Jax. Come on.
I'll be rewatching these comments and going, wait, what?
I'll give you. So I have a couple other thoughts I just wanted to throw out. One is there's people who appear sometimes, like they appear very suddenly and then they're gone. Like one of them for me was Eli, and like you've established a bad person. You're a bad guy at the beginning. It's Kate, obviously. And if you want other people to have that voice too, then put them in a group. Like Kate has a group of friends. She boards off and she joins Eli and some other members of the team and laughs, turning back and pointing and whispering or something. Because right now there's like people taking her place and then she gets lost and then she comes back at the end. But just have some consistency there. And there's also maybe
Tony, that's a good note, Tony. It's like the Cobra Kai note. Right, you need to have the bad team to fight the good team.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. And also, I think I was getting a little confused at times because Jess and Jake were confusing me too, and Dylan, and I think there was just a few too many characters that were coming in and out for me. I don't mind those times when there's someone famous and it becomes kind of like a humorous moment. They jump in the story and they jump out. But then some people are taking significant roles where I was like, well, you already have people to do that. So, just something to look out for. By the way, I actually wrote down the same note as Jeffrey. I put in the middle, you need a stronger plot driver, which is, that point about like when it was meandering a little bit there and it deflated, with what Jeffrey was saying about the phone calls to the parents and what have you. I needed to be reminded that there's a goal out there that we're driving towards. And what's interesting about your film is there's a lens on it that it's a rom-com. you know, and there's a lens on it that it's an individual journey, you know, like we talked about early. It's a sports film, a Cool Runnings, or a, you know, any film where it's Rocky. I actually feel much like it's much more of a rom-com now than it was, you know, I think when I first was putting it in my head. And for that reason, this is probably my other big note, is that if there's a rom-com, there's obviously a rom-com element to it, or I should just say romantic element to it, but it is very funny. But the point is that there's never a point where the couple breaks up. And that point should come, like Jeffrey was saying, right before the Dark Night of the Soul. It's that piece, like when everything's going wrong. She's been outed, the board is going to decide against, looks like they're going to decide against her. And then there's like a fight with Ripley. And the best way to do this, because you're not obviously trying to paint either of these people as bad people. And, you know, I think the way to do it is to make it about a miscommunication. You know, that's normally like the way to navigate that. But it feels like the more you can pull them apart at some point, the more we'll want them back together, where right now they're together from the start. They have chemistry, they like each other, and that just kind of stays steady throughout the whole film. There's one point where I think there is a little friction, but it never really boils over. And I think if it boiled over a little bit, then we would really be rooting for them to get back together. So, and it doesn't have to be, you know, like, it's not one of those savage fights where people are saying mean things, obviously. It's one of those points where there's a misunderstanding and there's a growth or a level of learning on each person's part.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there were versions where that happened more, but not enough. It's like every time you tweak one thing, right, then other things get moved around. And yeah.
And the last note I'll give you is at the end, to be honest, I didn't care about the competition, the last run. Like this is one of those movies I could see ending on, they go down and she hits the first maneuver and it freezes in midair and you're out, because it was just always about the ability to compete and not about winning and the right to compete. And then you could do a fun thing if you wanted to do that, where it's like the top slope, she goes down, she hits the first maneuver, and then you freeze frame, and then you go to a montage of like those pictures you're talking about. Because I did like the sticker stuff and the initial team and things like that. And one of those pictures could be her on the stand in first place, hugging Ripley in second place, you know, something like that. Because at that point, the competition for me had like fallen out of importance versus like winning the right to compete. It's you know, so just something to think about. And in the relationship, like the relationship, if it needs some mending after that Dark Night of the Soul moment where she goes before and talks to Steph, then that mending the relationship is the other, you know, that's the winning. That's the part where we get what we wanted from the plot of the movie.
Hey, Tony and Jeffrey, I have a question. Jax, my girlfriend, is a former professional skier and semi-pro boarder, and Jack's been talking to her. I was wondering, because my girlfriend has told me many times about the specific lingo that's used in boarding. Mm-hmm. When Jeffrey, you had mentioned about kind of disguising the conversation a little bit, would it be something that's useful to disguise what's really being talked about in using actual snowboarding terms? And Canadian too, because Faith is Canadian. There's not a lick of Canadian in her, the way she talks. There's no "hey bud" stuff.
Need some maple syrup.
As a first generation American, I love Canadian accents. So I mean, there's that stuff. Should that be something that should be looked at? I'm asking because of my own stuff. I like to put the accents in, but I don't know if it's always a good thing.
Yeah, I personally, I think that, you know, we're absolutely, the authenticity and color and specificity is a great thing. It's a little bit, but I'm always wary of focusing too much on that in the notes phase. You know, as you can hear, both of us were talking a lot of structural things, because you don't want to get so, I think that you could absolutely, like that scene that I'm suggesting, Jax, that you kind of play with, or maybe try doing that with, that's a great mechanism to do it, to say, do you want to do it through talking about snowboarding? You know, like there's the, you know, Quentin Tarantino got paid $500,000 for like to do it a one, you know, paragraph thing about the analogy of the Silver Surfer and Crimson Tide. If you remember that movie, you can go back and listen to it. It's a 1 page of dialogue, but it worked, you know, and it was a way to talk about it. There's also the whole thing about the white horses, you know, in that movie that he did too. That's a very, in retrospect, kind of on the nose, but it absolutely worked as a way for him to talk about race without talking about race. I think, Jax, for you to talk about risk taking, to talk about what it means to go down and, you know, risk going out of control. You know, I mean, that's a way to talk about what they're talking about in the conversation. I think adding the lingo is an important thing, but it's secondary right now to kind of structuring the screenplay as best you can. They're not at all every mutually, you know, you could do both at once. Right. But I think ultimately it's like that final pass for dialogue. You know, I've definitely written things that are in lingos or with people that aren't my profession or my language, you know, especially if it's like a Spanish drug dealer or something. And then I'll give that script to someone who does speak Spanish and is from that part of the world and say, how would they, and they'll give you little tips, you know, because that's not usually the difference maker, you know. Right. And you don't want to get so hung up on it that you're spending all your time on the words when it's not even the right scene.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I was just wondering, because you had mentioned that one whole scene about kind of hiding what was really being talked about, and I thought that perhaps using that lingo could solve at least that one little part of it.
But it also still has to you know, it has to be something that's understandable by the broader audience.
Oh, yeah.
Right, because obviously if
and,
it gets
and within the right context, it would.
Within the context.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
But by the way, it is a good point. Like the script doesn't yet delve into like anything between the cultures of Canada and Vale. I think that you're touching, Jax, a little bit on class differences. You know, obviously one's kind of a wealthy child whose parents pay for everything, and the other one's not. But that is something to also deepen your thing. Like, does Faith work 4 jobs just to pay for the lift pass? You know, is it the working class kid who meets the other kid? Like, I don't know if those things are part of the story you want to explore, but they just might enrich it more if you kind of if you figure out where you want to go with that.
In that metaphor talking part, especially the subtext part that Jeffrey talked about earlier, that can also apply to your, you know, quote unquote bad guys. So like, you know, people don't have to come out and just say exactly what they're talking about. They could make a metaphor, you know, Kat could make a metaphor about something, you know, you could put it, I can't come up with one on the spot. Like it's about trees, you know, and her talking about how some trees need to be cut down or something, you know.
I think that's a good point, Tony, because it's also a way to make your bad guys less arch.
Yeah.
You know, if you come, it's like the bad guys that show up and they're like, you know what I like about this, you know, this brand of whatever, you know, granola, it's authentic. No fucking GMO. Nobody's tampered with this. This is just the way God made it. Don't you like your food that way? You know, like there's a way to like talk about, you know, to mess with the other person slowly and subtly, as opposed to going right out like, you're gay, I don't like gays. You know, like it's a much more anyway, I think you can have fun with it too. And as Tony said, like as you start to put that group together, it may actually make it easier to have some of those conflicts, because Kat and someone else, again, running with that probably not the right idea, but a conversation with another person in her group, you know, but meant to be overheard by our character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Can be that way of stinging.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
I have to jump off because my wife is texting me that dinner is ready. But again, thank you to all of you for who read for this. Jax, great work.
Yeah, thank you.
Tony, always good to see you. And I'll let you guys keep going, but we'll see each other I think next week. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you, Jeffrey, for
Thanks,
joining
Jeffrey.
us.
Bye,
Appreciate
Avery.
it.
It's helpful.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Thanks.
I don't really have any other notes. You know, well, I did have like some really minor ones I can send to you an email, but you know, they're really simple things like there's a point where in the TV interview where you started using snapshots of photos, but it's not used anywhere else in the movie, so it felt a little odd. Like I think if you're going to use like something like that, normally you kind of have to do it more than once, otherwise it just feels kind of jarring. So I think the idea would be to maybe either, if you want to keep it, then do it sporadically throughout, like when she's talking about her upbringing at other points in the movie, have like flash to a picture or flash to a video and then come back. So,
okay.
That's it.
I'll think about it. Yeah. That's probably going to be like past 5 or something where I try to figure that stuff out. So yeah, I'll have to think about that a little more too. There's quite a few spots where I'm like, I'm still not exactly sure how that's going to work, or if it works. These other things are a lot bigger, so I'm going to definitely start on that first, trying to solve those structural issues. So, cool.
Awesome. Anybody else have anything to add? Okay, we'll call it.
And then
I
there
thought
were,
it was fun.
and then there were 10.
Yes. Great. All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you, Tony, very much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Great job, Jax.
Thanks. I mean, and yeah, I mean, you guys did awesome. Like, but I feel like Erin needs a hug now or ice cream. I'm not
Thanks,
sure
Steph.
which.
Yeah, you all did you did a great job reading. That's
They
fantastic.
do dramatic so well.
No.
Thanks.
I'm like this goofy character actor, but it worked for the parts.
Exactly. Totally. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for having us. This was really fun.
Thanks,
You're
Avery.
welcome.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
you're
thanks.
welcome.
Awesome.
All right. Take care, everyone.
You too.
See you guys on Tuesday.
Bye.